you know how much easier it is to be a world champion when you can eat filet mignon every night rather than ground beef? He's like, you need to make some money, Biggs. Went up to 925 and coming down, and right when I hit the hole to fire up, pop, 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 3 pops in my knee. I didn't know what it was, and I still fired up, still stood up with it, and then I knew I was in trouble.
Yep.
And I got in the rack. I was like, oh, like now the pain hit. I was like, oh. And my wife pulled the knee wrap off, and I felt some weirdness going on. My quad completely separated, and my patellar tendon snapped.
But you finished the squat.
Finished the squat and got it in the rack.
That's something.
Yeah, like I always joke that it's got to be a world record pistol squat.
Like if the training felt good, the weights felt good, I didn't care what I weighed.
Yeah, I didn't have that mentality. I had to see bro, I could literally be so fired up and jazzed up. I can step on the scale and see someone I like, nope, I'm not working out today. This is gonna be a horrible workout. I need to go eat more. And I was riding my Harley to work, and I got T-boned at 50 miles an hour. Oh. And broke my back, broke my pelvis, cracked my elbow. I met you last year at this time at Olympia. And we got to do some left-handed pulling, and I knew you were special because my left hand, again, isn't good or anything, but it's good enough to beat a guy that doesn't arm wrestle. So when we were pulling, and I was like, okay. I was like, all right, I'm going to be a little more aggressive on this one. Same thing. I was like, oh yeah, you're special.
Welcome to the Shaw Strength Podcast. We are mobile today and joined by none other than Mr. Brandon Allen. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful, sir. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is fun. So if you guys followed along, we did have a arm wrestling match, which we will get into after Brandon's backstory. So we have got to talk a little bit, but we've saved all the stories for the podcast. And I feel like your history, man, like I want to know about your background and, just life and, where you grew up and what kind of molded you into the person that you are. So
right on, yeah. Well, I grew up in LA, greater LA area, Los Angeles, the South Bay of Los Angeles to be specific. Always super active kid. We always played sports and stuff like that. Football is kind of where I excelled at in high school. Surfing and skating and BMX, total SoCal life.
Really? All of that stuff?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
So the cool thing about SoCal, you can surf, snowboard, and bike like all on the same day. You know what I mean, right there. But once I got to high school, then it was just kind of football. In the weight room.
Focused on that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I loved football. I excelled at it. I grew up. I have an older brother and an older cousin, and they used to torment me and whip my ass when I was younger.
How much older?
My brother's 18 months and my cousin's a year.
So they're close.
Real close.
Yeah.
So they used to whip on me pretty good. And then when we got to high school, things kind of changed a little bit. I started getting bigger than them, stronger than them and stuff like that. And, it was always about the weight room. That's where I was, the most comfortable and where I loved it the most. I was so obsessed with weightlifting when I was younger. Like when I would get in trouble and get grounded, it was from the gym.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's because my parents knew that was my motivating factor.
So if you got that taken away, that was
serious, and I knew I fucked up. And
that's fair.
Up.
What age did lifting come into the picture? 12.
So when I was 12 years old, my dad bought a weight set for the garage.
Nice.
And loved it. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I have an uncle who's a pro bodybuilder.
Okay.
So again, having a bigger older brother and older cousin, I was like, I gotta get bigger,
Absolutely.
And so there was like a weird gap where me and my cousin, we didn't see each other for like 3 months for something. But I had that weight set, so I was hitting the weights every day,
Yeah.
And then when we saw him again, he was like, "Oh my God, dude, your chest is huge!" And I was like, "Hook!" I was like, "Someone's gonna say that to me every single time they see me for the rest of my life."
I love it. it.
So that's where the obsession hit in with the weights.
Okay.
So fast forward a little bit. I played junior college football.
Okay.
And always the strongest guy on the teams and stuff like that. Didn't really know much about strength sports, really. You know what I mean? YouTube wasn't a thing.
No.
And you had to really seek it to know about it.
Yep.
And then I was living out in San Diego doing power line construction and going to the gyms and stuff like that. And then I was always strong. I was benching 545 as a gym bro, bouncing it as hard as I can, and just heaving it up.
Yeah.
And there was a dude there, and he was like, "Hey, man, why don't you compete in powerlifting?" And I was like, that shit they do in Russia.
So this is after football was
after football,
okay,
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. During football, it was just like school and football. It's all I really did.
Yeah.
And partying, and living that crazy life when you're young and dumb. And then, like I said, older, working, this is now early 20s. And there was a dude that asked me about powerlifting, and I didn't know anything about it. And I started working out with him in his garage, in a little garage gym, and squatting to depth for the first time ever.
Sure.
And benching with the paws and deadlifting without straps. I was like, he was like, dude, you're really strong. You should pursue this. So looked up a meet and found a USPA powerlifting competition. Drove out to that, competed in it, won the whole thing, and got invited to Worlds and whatnot. And it was super awesome, and I was pretty hooked then. So this is now we're getting into the social media era where I was like on Facebook and stuff like that, and I was on Instagram, but it wasn't really what it is today. Sure. And I was like corresponding with guys like Stan Efferding and Eric Spoto, who live out here in Vegas. Yeah. So me living not too far away. Eric Spoto was like, dude, you should just move out here, man. And this is where like the Worlds was every year for the USPA Nationals.
But you were still in San Diego.
At this time, I was in San Diego. Like I grew up in LA. I started working kind of down Orange County, then ended up in San Diego. And then at this time, I was like 23, I believe. Okay. And I was like, all right, I just finished a big job out in San Diego. I had a little money saved. Power line construction. I was a heavy equipment operator.
Okay.
So putting up power lines, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And good work. Make good money. Just you're working though.
Yeah, it's work. That's real work.
You're working 7 days a week. 14-hour days. It's having no life other than working out, going home, going to the gym, and then sleeping for a few hours, and turning around and doing it again.
Yeah.
But when you're 20, you can burn the candle at both ends.
You can go, man.
Yep,
100%.
So I moved out here to Vegas. Started training with Spoto and Stan. And was just completely hooked, and I knew I had like kind of a gift for it. I was, I kind of started at, like my first total ever was like 18 something.
That's awesome.
And then my next meet was 2000 or 2000.
And this
total.
is 23, 24.
Yeah, this is like 24 years old now. Okay. 24 years old, yeah. And then I just doing the nightlife gig out here, bouncing at all the bars and the nightclubs. Kind of trying to find my way. Didn't really know what I was going to do. I knew I didn't want to work construction anymore because I knew the hours it took and how that would take away from the progress in the gym.
Absolutely.
So, just kind of living like below my means now, like kind of lowered everything on what I was doing just so I can train.
Yeah.
And then
so you put a focus when you got out here.
Here motivated me.
Then the focus shifted more toward lifting.
And, being around the right people.
Yeah.
And just having that kind of seeing what's possible.
Yeah.
And then knowing like, okay, if I apply myself, maybe I can do what these guys are doing. And
absolutely.
And, sure shit I did. And I didn't really get great, like become really good at powerlifting until I met who my wife is today, Jenny.
Okay.
And that was 11 years ago. So when I met Jenny, she really helped me like kind of dial it in. I was competing in powerlifting and I was good. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. And when I met her, now I had someone to help me cook and all the other things, man. And she helped take me to the next level. And then it was 2015 now. That's when I opened up my first gym, Filthy Power Gym.
Yep.
And a little small 1,200 square foot location in North Las Vegas, like behind a strip mall, and you couldn't find it if you didn't know where it was. There's no signs, no promotion. Yeah. But, Instagram started picking up and promotion on that, and that's kind of how I got people in the door.
Yeah.
And then now I had my own little, and the real reason why I opened the gym is because at this time, there were no powerlifting gyms in Vegas.
So when you got out here, where were you training?
At it was Gold's Gym at the time, which is now EOS out here.
Okay.
So we're just working out the Golds, and then there's a big MMA gym out here called Syndicate MMA, and they had a little corner where they had like a monolift and like a squat bar, and a deadlift bar and stuff like that. So I would work out the MMA gym for my powerlifting stuff, but it was an hour and 10-minute drive from my house.
Oh man.
And I did it every day, or 5 days a week, 4 days a week. And which was pretty cool because I got to meet a lot of big UFC fighters out here and kind of network and guys who I'm friends with today.
UFC out here is huge.
Oh, it's this is the fight capital, of the United States for sure. So and it's a cool place to live because you meet a lot of cool people just because it's Vegas.
Yeah.
So that long drive and whatever, I was just like, there's got to be something else. And I was like, there's no gyms that you can do this at.
Yeah.
And why am I driving so far? Let's open up something up here. There's enough powerlifters I know. Yep. I did the math. I needed like 30 members in order to break even.
Sure.
And I was like, I can get 30 guys in here.
Yeah.
And we did that. And then, the gym grew. And as I got stronger, more people wanted to be where I was training,
Sure. You got more attention.
More attention for sure. Yep. And it was cool, man, when I was competing at my little small gym, like, I had like a group of like 5 to 10 guys that would be there all the time that helped change weights and you know what I mean, and kind of let me live that diva gym lifestyle.
Sure, man.
And that's where the total started going up and up, and it was maybe 2016 where Stan Efferding was like the strongest in Nevada and the world record holder in the 275 division. I wasn't 275. I was in the 308 category.
Got it.
And I was like, okay, I got it. I was getting close to Stan's numbers, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. This was quick because Stan was like on a pedestal way too high for me.
Yeah, big time. Yeah.
And then I remember when I broke what Stan's record was, I was like, okay. I was like, this is something. This is serious. And at that time, I started working with Chad Wesley Smith from Juggernaut, and Chad's wealth of knowledge, and he was someone that was stronger than me at the time. So it was real easy to take advice from him. You know, it's kind of hard to take advice from someone that hasn't done it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
the experience goes a long way.
Yeah, and then not just like not trusting someone with the programming, but when I started working with Chad, I was like, well, he's not going to steer me wrong. Like, no, he's doing it. You know, we're at the level that I want to be. Yeah. So that's where the numbers started getting up a little higher too, because you know how it is once you kind of hit your genetic potential of max. Like now, a 10-pound jump is a big deal.
Absolutely.
Or when you're earlier in your career, you can jump 50 pounds in 6 months or 8 months.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
So the gym was growing. I was getting stronger. Everything was doing great. This was in, now we're in like 2017, coming into 2018. And, I'm skipping over a bunch of injuries and whatnot, but still, had my head on straight and was motivated for this.
Yeah.
And then in 2018, that's where I was in kind of grasp of the all-time world record, which was held by Andrei Mahalachev at the time, big Russian dude. And I was like, okay, I think I can get this all-time world record, in the super heavyweight division. And 2018 at Kern, which was in San Diego, that's where I put up a real big total, 2380. I hit a 975-pound squat, 573 bench, and I missed an 887 deadlift, ended up getting an 855 deadlift, and man. So now I'm like kind of the up-and-coming guy, for America. Don't get me wrong, there's other killers, Eric Lillybridge, Dan Bell, there's JP Price, there's a lot of killers still, but I was in that conversation of that top 5 guys that can be the next guy to do it. And then in 2018, I went to Big Dogs 3, which was in Australia. That's like the biggest powerlifting meet, raw powerlifting meet there is. And I performed decently well. That was when I got my first 1,000-pound, my first and only 1,000-pound squat.
Huge,
1,008 pounds. It was a monolift meat.
Sure.
And I'm a meathead, and I was like, I'm so stubborn, and I wouldn't feel good taking a record or like Kurt Kozlowski or Ed Cohen or any of these greats I did before us with using the monolift. You got to walk it out, right?
Walk it out, sure.
So I'm in this meet, you know what I mean? It's like 9 of the best guys in the world, and I'm the only retard who's walking out my squat. Just because.
Hey, man, you're a purist.
Yeah, I just wanted to do it the right way, And again, using the monolift, you definitely can get 30 to 40 pounds out of it with not having to take the steps and whatnot. Yeah. But I didn't care. I wanted to do it the right way. I ended up placing 3rd in that meet with a 24:30 total, which is to this day the highest podium of powerlifting history.
That's nuts, man.
Yeah, at that time, that's when half the world was coming into powerlifting. Yep. And I was kind of talking shit online. I was like, do it at Big Dogs. Like, don't do it in your garage. Do it at Big Dogs where it counts.
Absolutely, yes.
And we ended up not getting him to do it. He did his meet, and I beat him by 2.5 kilograms. So I got that little notch on him.
Yeah.
And then now, again, a 24:30 total, going 5 for 9. Didn't have my best day.
Man.
Missed the bench that I should have got, but kind of got in my head.
See, that's frustrating.
Yep. And then I was going for a 900-pound deadlift and got it as close as you can get it without getting it. Like just that one point where my hips were almost coming through on it.
Sure.
Just wasn't quite there and lost it, seeing stars and whatnot, about to pass out. So, again, happy with how it went. I mean, I did well. 3rd place with the 24:30 total is pretty insane because that would win any meet in the world.
Absolutely.
At that time specifically. And then now Kern, that big meet in San Diego, was going to be coming up in 2019. I was prepping for that meet, and I was pretty confident I was going to get like around 1,050 squat. Because when I did 1,008, it was very fast. There's definitely more in the tank. But you got to be a little strategic and save a little for the deadlift.
100%.
In the strongman world, strategy is a big part of it.
Yeah, big time.
So I was prepping for that meet, and I remember my sponsor at the time, Iron Rebel, was out, and we're doing a video in my gym, and a little pressure to perform well. Yeah. And my knee was a little tender, and my knee was messed up, and I knew it was messed up. Oh, and man. In hindsight, I definitely shouldn't have squatted heavy that day. Yeah. But being, the crew there and everything, and the camera crew,
so they were just filming with you.
They were just filming. No one was pressuring me. I was just myself.
Of course,
I need to do this. I want to do this. And there was a time where we were warming up, and I think I hit like 855 without wraps, and which was typical for me before I got into wraps.
Okay.
And I remember stepping outside with my wife real quick. I was like, damn, my knee feels weird.
Yeah.
She's like, don't do this. You don't need to do this.
Yeah.
I was like, no. I was like, I can do it. I was like, it's only my top squat for that day was going to be 925, and this was like 12 or 14 weeks out from the actual meet.
Okay.
So, I had tons of time to peak my strength and get my central nervous system adapted for it. I was like, no, I can do it. I can do it. So went up to 925, threw the wraps on, and coming down, and right when I hit the hole to fire up, pop, 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 3 pops in my knee. And, ooh, my knee carved in. No. I didn't know what it was, and I still fired up, still stood up with it, and then I knew I was in trouble.
Yeah.
And I got in the rack. I was like, oh, like now the pain hit, I was like,
Just
oh,
comes.
and my wife pulled the knee wrap off, and I felt some weirdness going on. And what it was my quad completely separated, and my patellar tendon snapped. So my quad muscle had all rolled up into my hip.
But you finished the squat.
Finished the squat and got it in the rack.
That's something.
Yeah,
bro.
like I always joke that it's got to be a world record pistol squat.
It's ridiculous.
925 with one knee. But
because that was right out of the hole. You felt that.
Right in the bottom is where it snapped. You can see it in the video. And funny enough, Eddie Hall actually was doing like his video reviews on like squat injuries.
Okay.
And mine was on
Popped
one of
up
those.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mine was on one of those.
Damn.
So yeah, right when I hit the hole, the knee came in and stood up with it. And you know how it is when you're in that competitive state of mind. With the knee wraps off, I'm looking at me, and I know it's my kneecap's over a bit. There's my 32-inch leg was now a 24-inch leg. Like something was off, And
your heart just kind of sinks.
Yeah, and when you're in the moment, and when you're at the top, it's like you're only as good as your last meet, and it's like, oh, you got to just keep stacking.
Absolutely.
You can't see the future or anything.
Yeah.
So as competitive as I was thinking, I was like, I didn't know the extent of it yet. I just kind of thought I tweaked something. I didn't really know that I tore things. Like,
sure.
So in my head, I'm like, okay, well, we got 10 weeks or so, or 12 weeks or so. I'll be ready for this meet. I'll be fine.
Oh,
and
man.
then I was training with my buddy Derek White at the time. He's an amputee, so he had crutches there. He's like, here, use my crutches to get to your truck. So I crutched to my truck. I get home. This was on a Friday. Can't see the specialist till Monday.
Yeah.
So all weekend I'm like, I can't walk at all. I'm just sitting in a chair all day. I can't put any pressure on my leg. Yeah, I couldn't move it at all. Swelling up. I was 360 pounds at the time.
Man.
So it was just it was all bad. And I went and saw the specialist on Monday, and I'm in there, and I'm like, I don't know what's up, doc. I don't know what's wrong with my leg. I came in on crutches and everything like that. And he's like, oh, move your leg forward for me. So I'm standing up with all my weight on my left leg, and I kind of use my hip to swing it. He's like, no. Holds my hips. He's like, move your leg forward. I was like, oh, shit, I can't. He's like, yeah, your quad is completely detached.
Holy
I was like,
cow,
oh,
man.
Okay. I'm like, what does this mean? And like, did I have to have surgery? He's like, oh, dude, if you ever want to walk again,
you got.
So I'm like, wait, what? Like, walk again? Like,
yeah.
And then I'm like, am I going to be able to lift? Like, he's like, yeah, you'll be fine. It's going to be a year. He's like, just get in your head. It's going to be a year.
Wow.
So I had to like swallow that pill. I was like, whoa, okay, I'm out for a year.
Yeah.
This is going to be tough. So I had knee surgery, had it repaired, and I was still super motivated, super focused. Like, I'm going to do everything I can to get this recovery done and get back into it. He said a year, I'm going to do it in 6 months. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just kind of that mindset.
Competitive.
Yeah,
mindset.
You've dealt with injuries. You know how it is. And then about 4 or 5 months after the knee surgery, and like, mind you, I'm barely, doing bodyweight squats to depth and stuff like that. I'm still real swollen and tender, you know what I mean? Still very weird.
Yeah.
I had just opened up my second gym, which is a big gym over by the airport down this way. And so I was like, my wife's back to work. I'm going to work. I'm going to my gym. And I was riding my Harley to work, and I got T-boned at 50 miles an hour. Oh. And broke my back, broke my pelvis, cracked my elbow, tore all the ligaments in my left leg socket. So now
this is as a recovery.
This is 5 months after the surgery, 4 or 5 months after the surgery.
Crap.
So, that happens. And, as I'm kind of recovering from that, now I'm back on the couch, peeing in bottles all day. So, I can't get up to go to the bathroom. My wife's got to work. And I was like, it kind of hit me. I was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore,
Right.
At least not at a high level.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you understand this. Once you've kind of been to the top, you can't really do it anywhere else.
No.
You gotta go back to that top spot.
You have to. Yep.
And I kind of started realizing that might not be in the cards. And so this was a good friend of mine, Eric Spoto.
Yeah.
This is when he was still he was a world record bench presser, 722 pounds raw.
Did you train much with him?
Oh yeah.
On powerlifting?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. I'll never forget the first day when I finally squatted 725, I was like, I finally squat more than you bench, you big bundle. So, and, yeah, that was, so a long time ago now. But, so Spoto was like, you should do arm wrestling, man. I was like, maybe, it's cool. I got to be competitive. Like,
he was getting into it.
So Eric started arm wrestling in like 2005.
Early.
And then a big gap of not competing.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Because you only heard about the bench press stuff with him.
Right. But he was Devin can tell this way better than I can. Devin has known Eric for a very long time.
Okay.
And Devin will gas Eric up to the max, and rightfully so. Eric is one of the strongest human beings on the planet.
Oh, he's stupid strong.
Yeah, just different muscles. Like, you know what I mean? It's just tendons and everything's just different. And so I would arm wrestle with Eric and be like, I can't get into this. I have nothing. You know what I mean? Like, but I didn't understand how high the level of strength Eric was.
Yeah.
So I kind of started going to a little bit of, at my gym, the arm wrestling local team in Las Vegas, they would train at my gym.
Okay.
And I would, jump in here and there, but I didn't really care for it. You know what I mean? I was still benching in the 500s and stuff. And like, maybe I'll be a bench only guy, you know what I mean? Maybe I'll do strict curl or something like that, something different. So one night Eric calls me and he's like, "Hey, you got to come to the gym tonight," because I would work out early in the morning, train all my clients early, work out early, and then I wouldn't be at my gym at all in the evenings.
Makes sense.
I'm an early riser, early to bed kind of guy.
Yeah.
So one night Eric's like, "Hey, you got to come to the gym tonight. There's a world champion coming here." I was like, "Oh, okay. World champion anything. I want to meet you. Sure."
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll come meet him and. So we're in there in the practice, and now there's all these people here. I'm like, okay, this guy's someone.
Okay.
And in walks Devin Larrett,
Okay.
And Devin.
Did you know who he was at all?
I knew who he, like a little bit of an idea, but
sense.
I didn't really care about arm wrestling yet. I didn't really care. I knew what it was, but I didn't care for it really. And then Devin walks in, and I see this tall, lengthy dude with these massive forearms with these skinny biceps.
Yeah.
And Spoto, who has 24-inch biceps, one of the strongest humans ever lived, he's like, that guy will kill me in arm wrestling. I'm like, stop it.
Right.
Because I've held Eric with two hands and he's dragged me across the table.
Yeah.
I'm like, stop it. And I watch him and Eric do some, sparring and stuff like that. This video is all on YouTube and stuff. You can find them. And that's where it hit me. I was like, okay, this is cool. I want to get into this.
Interesting.
Because there's someone like Devin who isn't conventionally stronger than Eric on any measurement.
Nothing.
But can work him on the table. I'm like, there's something to this. There's like technique and stuff and tendon building. I was like, this might be something I can do. So, I started getting into arm wrestling a little bit more. COVID hit. Yeah. And then, the gyms, it was rough.
Yeah,
but,
man. How did that go? How did that go?
I closed and sold my gyms because of COVID. I had half my members trying to snitch on me for keeping it open.
Sure.
And
so you tried to keep it open.
I tried. I never closed the gym ever. It was a state mandate. I never told anyone they couldn't come.
Sure.
But people started emailing the state and stuff. I'd have the state calling me and threatening me about things, and it was one of those things. So then I just started saying, "Hey, you're here to volunteer to clean." Whatever we can do to get around it, And I still had to make money and work. I still had to pay my mortgage and everything. Like, just because I couldn't operate my business didn't mean I didn't owe the landlord.
No, this is the.
It was a crazy time, man. It was a scary time, and I was watching my savings
just dwindle.
I'm like, I can't even make rent. Like, this is nuts. And I kind of vented about it to a buddy of mine, and he was like, "I'll buy your gym." I was like, "Okay." So this is the long and short of it. We work it out and give it over to him, and now that is the new Sin City Iron in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And he's taken it to a level I was never willing to do. He's invested so much money. It's an amazing gym, one of the best gyms in Las Vegas. One of the best gyms there is, in my opinion. So that worked out great. So I got out of the gym business, and now I can kind of focus on my personal training and my coaching and my own training myself.
Absolutely.
So and when COVID hit, dude, I was doing very good online in 2019, in early 2020. I was doing very good. And then when COVID hit, what's the first expenditure that goes when you can't work? A luxury like personal training, online coaching.
Yes.
And obviously my specialty was strength and conditioning with powerlifting specific.
Yep.
So now when people can't even compete because there's no meets going on,
exactly.
They don't need me anymore. And they don't even have a gym to go to. Very few people have a home gym, So I watched my business cut into a quarter of what it was in a matter of weeks. And it was suffocating. And then my gyms and everything else. I was like, what the fuck are we going to do?
I mean, it's just that I think a lot of people well, a lot of people went through that, right? But it's like businesses like that.
Business owners definitely suffered the hardest.
Massively.
Yeah.
Massively.
And I'm not going to act like a sob story, like I'm a unique story. I know this hurt millions of Americans.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
What I mean? But I was one of them.
Yes.
And it hurt me bad, you know, financially, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
And then not only that momentum, you know how social media works, you know, there's momentum and stuff like that. That all just, you know,
done. Yeah.
I went from getting, you know, 5,000 new subscribers, you know what I mean, a month to losing 5,000 a month, you know.
It's crazy. Yes.
Yeah, it was just a real weird thing. But
I mean, that's huge to have somebody walk in and be like, "Yeah, I'll buy it."
A good friend of mine too, like someone who I trust and stuff like that. And he's taken the gym, like I said, to a whole different level. And I'm very proud of him. He's doing great. The gym makes great money, and the gym does awesome.
Yeah,
and I'm like, damn,
huge.
I could have done that, you know.
Right?
But I wasn't willing to take the financial investment that it did. So that's for sure.
This is the thing. Gym business is tough, man.
Oh, it's massive overhead. It's one of the hardest startups there is, you know? And it's hard to get people in the door. You learn who your friends are, too, when you open when you open any business.
Yeah.
You know, I had guys that were, you know, I'm going to come train at gym. We're going to come in membership. And they come up and, it's $50 a month. Like, well, what is it for me? I'm like, I thought you were my fucking friend, bro.
No, this is the thing. I mean, you're kind of hitting an interesting topic there, right? Because this happens so much, right? Like, and you're saying friend, right? But it's like, okay, well, if I'm your friend, well, I want to see you be successful.
Sure.
You've invested your time, your energy, your money, effort, everything.
Took all the risk.
And then it's like, well, I want to show up and get it for free.
Right. It's like, but you have no problem paying the LVAC or the EOS membership. Why are you? Yes. Did you bargain with them at the front door?
This is like what you're trying to do for your job, right? Like, and to make money. And
right.
So it's
And to be honest, in the first part of my opening the gym, I just wanted the gym to pay for itself, and then I knew I can coach out of it and make money that way because I've been training my whole life. So training clients, you know, my whole life. Always, even when I was doing construction, I was still doing training and stuff when I had time. But you know, it's always been something that I always did. But again, you know, like I said, you learn who your friends are real quick.
Yes,
you know?
absolutely.
And that list of people who guaranteed me they were going to sign up, dwindled. I bet very quickly.
I bet. Yeah.
So it was a little bit of a shock at that. But again, we jumped a little bit there. But back into 2020, COVID, sold the gym, and then my North gym, North Las Vegas. I had to move to Boulder City during this time. So right before COVID hit, I moved to Boulder City. You've been out there. You see it's cool, great little town. You know what I mean? A lot better than North Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So I got real lucky at least that I got my wife out of North Las Vegas before, me and my wife out of North Las Vegas before COVID hit, because at least we're on lockdown in a cool little city.
Makes sense.
And definitely a little better than Vegas was. So, you know, being out there, now my online business was dwindled bad, but steady enough to where I was making a living.
Yeah.
And then my North Las Vegas gym was still doing okay, but again, the COVID restrictions and all the bullshit, it was an hour and 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
And I had a good friend of mine, Alan, an old man, he would take care of it for me and like stock the bathroom.
Okay.
And kind of sign, if I would sign people up, he would go and show them the gym so I didn't have to make the runs and stuff like that.
Sure.
So that worked out. And then my landlord up north was just kind of a dick, and he didn't. After being there for 7 or 8 years, he didn't want to renew my contract. He was sick of the noise and the slamming the weights and whatnot. So I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to open another gym up here, and like, you know, which kind of sucked for my members up there. Because if I opened a gym up in that area, they would have went to it for sure.
Yeah.
But it was just so far from me, I wasn't there anymore. I kind of lost, what it was, at least to me. Yeah. So I closed that gym and I moved all my equipment out into Boulder City in my garage.
Okay.
You see my garage gym?
Yes.
Nice and quaint, but I got everything you need. You know, and so I moved my gym to my garage and I started training clients out of my garage.
Okay.
And it worked out cool. You know, I was doing well. And then, I was kind of getting bored, and like I knew I could make more money if I was at a gym just because of location, being way out in Boulder City. And if I was in Vegas, I knew I could make more money, have more clients. So my buddy Eric, who owns Sin City Iron, the old Filthy Power, he was like, dude, please just come train out of your old gym. Like, So I was training my clients now out of the old gym, and doing the back and forth, 30-minute drive, not too bad, but you know, it's a drive. I was used to a 2-mile drive.
Sure, a little bit different.
And then out of the garage right there. So it was a little different, and my old pit bull, my old boy Charger boy, he was getting sick, and he passed away early summer, this year. But this was a couple years ago. He was sick, and I was like, man, I would feel horrible if I come home to my boy dead.
Yeah, man.
So I was like, I told my clients, I was like, hey, I'm going back to the garage. I understand if you don't want to do it.
Sure.
And they're all on board. They're like, you know how it is when you have loyal people to you. You know what I mean? They'll come with you, and they'll chase you down wherever it is. So we moved back to Boulder City, training out of the garage, and I added a little bit more equipment, made it a little more suitable. And, I just wanted to be home and do it that way. So I'm pretty fortunate now where I'm at a point where, most of my work is from home.
That's awesome.
I do, 12-hour days of clients out of the garage. I never have to leave.
That's awesome, man. Yeah.
And I know I'm skipping a little bit, but, I had to be home again for my boy.
Yeah.
And then at this time, me and my wife were trying very hard to conceive and have a baby.
Yeah.
And 10 years of trying, or really not preventing it, but of course abusing PEDs with powerlifting. I knew things on my end probably were restricting that from happening.
Sure.
And then there was about a 3 year try there where we really tried very hard.
Yeah.
And did everything I needed to do to make it happen, and we conceived our beautiful little girl.
So cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 11 months ago, my little daughter was born. And I don't even know what to say. It's the coolest thing ever. I love her so much, and it's we do have a little bit of regrets that we didn't do it sooner. That we could have had more.
Sure.
But I'm very happy to have her.
Yeah, yeah.
So now I just train out of the garage. I do graphic installs and display builds for one of my buddies as a company whenever I have time.
Okay.
So just kind of hustling, working, just doing what I can do. I know I jumped a little bit there. I kind of got a little sidetracked. But
no, man, you kind of just rolled through it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean, the journey, like getting into it, it seems like lifting has been a constant.
Oh, that's it's been like my, therapy or medicine, whatever you want to call it. It's just like I was real wild when I was young. Growing up in LA, kind of product of the environment. Sure. I was real wild, and if it weren't for the gym, I probably would have gotten a lot more trouble than I actually got into.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's just the one thing that I had that was steady in my life.
Sure.
My parents divorced when I was 15. It was a rough time, and kind of got a little wild there for a while. And,
sure.
But the gym has always been steady. Like Henry Rollins said, 200 pounds is always 200 pounds. So it's just the constant in my life. And it's something I'll do forever. I won't know what life is without training.
Yeah.
And it's awesome too to bring my daughter up into this. She's in the gym with me with my clients, and she's only 11 months old right now.
Yep.
But she sees it; it's normal for her. And as she gets older, it'll be completely normal for her. She won't understand what it's like not to work out and to live a somewhat healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm fortunate to have that.
Yeah, no, I think that's big. Like we do that with our boys, right?
Yeah.
And so they've watched, like, quite literally, like, my wife work out.
Yeah.
Right? Like, she worked out with them.
Right.
Right? They were, like, in the, like, the carrying deal.
Yeah, the kangaroo pouch.
Yeah.
We do the same thing.
Yeah. And
my wife worked out with her in her belly, too.
Yes,
So,
yeah. So it's just been, like, literally since they were conceived, and while Carrie was pregnant, it's like working out, and then they're born working out. And so
it'll be weird for them not to work out.
Yeah. Well, it's like such a, and this will be the same for your daughter, but it's like such a skewed reality, right? Because our boys are like I would go train, right? And it'd be like, oh, I'm going to go pull a fire truck. Right. They're like, oh, Dad, I've already seen that like how many times, right? And Carrie, I think, said, well, you boys, you realize like everybody's dad doesn't go pull fire trucks. Right? That's not normal, or like lifting stones or doing all this.
I'm sure it hasn't even hit
stuff.
them yet either. I'm sure they don't fully understand how special you actually are.
Yeah, it's fun though, because they'll always tell the truth, right? Like the filter for kids is just kind of like, whatever, So it's neat, and that will be great, like for her, like growing up, you know, especially like being around that with you and your wife and like all that.
And all her friends, she'll be safe her whole life.
Yes,
we're all meatheads and we're all huge.
100%, man, absolutely. So when you met your wife, was she into lifting?
Yeah, I met her at the gym. Actually, we would both work out at the same Gold's Gym, and she was so out of my league, dude. Like, just this tall, beautiful blonde. Like, I had no fucking shot. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I would see her at the gym and like say hi and like try to flirt a little bit, and just terrified of her. She was so amazing. She was just so much more than what I was. And we actually met through a mutual friend. I hate the name drop, but Jay Cutler was a good friend of mine. Well, I want to say good friend of mine, but someone who I've known since I was 15. Yep. And my wife is a massage therapist, and she's worked on Jay for all of his Olympia wins out here and stuff like that. That's awesome. Yeah. So Jay was getting ready to make a return for the 50th anniversary of Olympia when they were making Generation Iron, the movie.
Okay.
He ended up not going through with it, but he was going to get back into it and make a return for that. So he hit me up. He was like, hey, Biggs, I'm going to start training hard again. You available to train with me?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, what time, And so we met at LVAC, and we did a workout together and a little video and whatnot. And he posted that video, and then my wife was going over to work on him that night, and she was like, "Oh, you know," my wife always called me Meat.
Okay.
She's like, "Oh, you know Meat?" And Jay was like, "Oh yeah, Brandon's a good guy. You know, I've known him for a long time."
Yeah.
So it kind of put in a good word for me.
Yeah.
Jenny hit me up on Instagram. She's like, "Hey, Prime Time." I'll never forget the message. "Hey, Prime Time." I didn't know you knew. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know you knew Jay Cutler.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh yeah, you know, I worked out with him today." She's like, "Yeah, I told him I was just working on him. He was telling me about you." And I was like, "Oh, you want to go to the gym tomorrow?" And we went to the gym together for our first time, and we've been together ever since 11 years later.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so thanks, Jay.
Yeah. Hey, man. However it works,
that's cool thing about being in Vegas.
Path, you know.
Yeah, I had to move to Las Vegas to meet a sweet girl from Ohio.
Yeah.
You know,
so she's originally from
Cleveland
there.
area.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
she moved out here and pursued massage therapy. She works at the Encore.
Okay.
You know, the best place, safest place, nicest place in the world to do massage therapy.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So
awesome.
Yeah, and then, you know, being with her, and it just kind of worked for my powerlifting career, you know, keeping me healthy and keeping me able to keep going. And soft tissue work's a big deal. I mean, a lot of people overlook it, but it helps quite a bit.
I tell you what, man, I did a lot with that. Like, you know, the recovery side of when you're lifting extreme loads, right? Like I think, you know, stretching, soft tissue work, all this type of stuff for longevity.
Yeah, definitely.
You got to have it in the mix.
100%. 100%. And you know, it's fun at first. Like guys were like, "Man, your girlfriend's a massage therapist. That must be so nice." I'm like, "Have you ever gotten a real massage before?"
Yeah.
It don't feel real nice.
No.
It's fantastic after.
Sure.
But going through it, you're gonna check your pain tolerance.
Yes.
And yeah, it fucking hurt.
Oh yeah. Now here's a question. Did she test you through massage?
I'm sure, you know what I mean? I would do my best to suck it up until, you know, once you get more comfortable, you're about a year in, I'm like, "Babe, like, come on, you're killing me," you know, and I'd be a little more whiny. But at first, I'd be like, "Oh, dude,
you're not going to say a word.
I can't look like a bitch. I got to suck it up." Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's funny to think back at those times now, you know, haven't thought about it in a while. We've been so busy with the baby.
Sure.
You know?
I mean, just going through it a bit. I mean, I'm sure that, I mean, she may tell a different story, but you know, it would be fun, man. Like to reminisce and whatever. Like, but I wouldn't say a word. I promise you, I would not. I would be sweating or whatever.
Oh, I'd be sweating on that table too,
yeah,
trying to suck it up. Like
the pain tolerance. Yeah,
and then I would wonder. I'm like, there's no way people are paying for this kind of torture. Is she going hard?
Is this for real?
Is she going extra hard to see if I'm, you know? Who knows? It worked though.
It definitely does, man. It's super interesting, like your journey. So getting out of like LA, was that? I'm assuming that was a good thing for you.
Yeah, it was good. It was a little rough my first couple years, still pretty immature and still partying and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, having, you know, all your friends that grew up 3.5 hours away, every other weekend someone's on their way to Vegas, you know, do you want to meet up? Where do you got the hookups at what clubs? And this, I'm like, guys, I gotta fucking work. Like I didn't save for 2 months for a Vegas trip like you have. Like And then that's when like the powerlifting got serious. I went completely sober for 2 years. Right when I met my wife, and that's what kind of took me to that next level in my powerlifting career.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to act like I had a big problem or anything like that, but I would drink all the time and party all the time. And it hit a point where I think like talking to guys like Stan too, like Stan would, Stan made a point to me, a little jump, but Stan told me, he's like, "You know how much easier it is to be a world champion when you can eat filet mignon every night rather than ground beef?" He's like, "You need to make some money, Biggs." So I was like, okay, well, what I'm doing now, bouncing at the nightclubs and stuff, isn't it? So I got sober, I opened my gyms, and you know, it just made me focus way more. Then, you know, Vegas can make or break somebody, you know? There's a ton of opportunity out here, but there's a ton of distractions as well. And my first couple of years of living out here, I definitely had that weird hard to sleep thing that happens for a lot of people. You have like that FOMO, you know, there's always something going on. You know, when you're young, you kind of want to be in the scene. It's kind of hard to say no.
I can see that.
And it was pretty tough for me at first. And then, you know, just adapt to it and stay the hell away from the strip. And then it gets easier. Most people that live in Vegas, you only go to the strip to make money. You know, you don't go there for anything else. You know, if you're not working, you stay the heck away from it. It's for the tourist, you know?
And that's what the draw is, right? Like, and local people, it's, I mean, I don't really care to go down there. But you know, it's like one of those things.
Oh,
where
now
I
at
can see the
37 years old, I can care less about it.
yeah.
The only thing I love about living out here is that every now and then you'll have a friend come in town that wants to take you to a nice steak dinner.
Yeah.
You know, at a very high end restaurant. You're like, I'm there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
the food is legit.
Yeah. There's there's many options of any kind of food you can think of. It's here. You know, you throw a rock and hit the next place. They're everywhere. So and another cool thing about living out here too is stuff like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never would have met you last year had I not have left here. Or I wouldn't say never met you, but I wouldn't have met you the way I did.
No, man, it was
without
awesome.
living here you know, being here and having, especially when I had my gyms.
Yep.
There's always something going on. There's always someone coming to town, and then having social media as well. You know, I meet a lot of big name guys, a lot of just, you know, hey, can I train at your gym when I'm here in town? Sure. Absolutely, dude, come on by.
Yep.
You know, we'll shoot a video or something like that.
Yeah.
That's been a cool draw about being out here. And the arm wrestling, you know, I will jump into arm wrestling a little bit. The arm wrestling sound here is cool too. There's a lot of killers out this way. And then we're so close to California, Utah, Arizona, you know, Idaho's not too far away.
Access.
There's stuff everywhere. So there's guys everywhere. And so and then again, being in Vegas, those guys, they're a short drive from here. They all, you know, everyone wants to go to Vegas every now and then, or at least, you know, once a year or something. Yeah. So I've had a lot of cool opportunities meeting a lot of high level arm wrestlers as well.
Sure.
Just being out here.
So what I want to ask you about, because I think your perspective coming from such a high level in powerlifting, right? Like these weights in the transition, because like you said, like you're upper echelon of that, right? Like you're talking about like that level, then it's obviously kind of taken away, right? Like in a way. So like mentally, how was that? Right? Like it was, I mean, the transition, because it's easy now stepping out of it. Right. It's like, okay, well, I went through this and that happened. Then I got hit on the bike and it was like, all right, I don't know if I can get back there. So now I'm going to get out of it. But like, was there kind of like a low spot?
Oh yeah, there was
lifting, because you obviously loved.
I love powerlifting. Yeah. I still power lift to this day, just not at a high level.
Sure.
You know, it'll always be a part of my training regimen in one way or another.
Yeah.
You know, after the accident, I was super depressed there. I just recovered from one, not even back to lifting really yet, and then another one on top of it.
Yeah.
It was a rough year. 2019 was a tough year. And then COVID hit.
Yeah. So
I had to lose my gyms. I was like, what's going on, man? Yeah. And around this time is actually when I found Christ and got back into church and stuff like that, and completely turned my life around. So for the better.
Did you grow up with that?
No one in my family did. I went to a Lutheran Christian school.
Okay.
And then you know, so I was raised not raised Protestant, but I went to a Protestant church, and my family wasn't really into it. My dad wasn't into it. My mom, you know, my brothers and my sister, no. Okay. But I kind of drew to it. I had a good friend when I was in middle school, who his family was much more religious than mine. I spent a lot of time with him. Okay. And I started going to like winter camps and summer camps for church and stuff like that. And so, you know, I knew who God was. I just didn't fully accept it yet. And, you know, through my 20s, I lived a very secular lifestyle, partied a lot, and didn't really care about too much. And then when I hit 30, this is when I was kind of towards the top of powerlifting, that's where I kind of realized there's got to be more to life than this, man. Like, you know, I just didn't really, I wasn't happy. There was this hole in my heart. I didn't know what it was. And when I got back into church, I was like, oh, there it is. That's awesome. And that's where, you know, God, Jesus was speaking to me, and I knew, I was like, man, like I need to have a child. So I need to do everything I can to have a child. And that's where we did that. And now my life has just completely changed for the better. You know what I mean? Sure. You know, I definitely lost social media popularity and things like that from, you know, just because my audience was more of that secular type audience. Yeah. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm some preacher or some fantastic Christian or anything like that. I'm very flawed, and that's what a Christian is. I know I'm flawed. I admit it. And I need Jesus to help me live a better life. And so ever since I got saved in 2022, and just it's been all uphill from there, man. You know,
That's
my life's
really
been much better. You know, and just things that I prioritize more are much different than they used to be. You know, now I have a reason to live for, especially having a daughter. You know, and just not abusing things too hard, not taking things too seriously that aren't important. You know. Now my life is all about making sure my family is secured financially and making sure my wife and my daughter are safe, you know, and giving them the best life that I possibly can. No,
I mean, it's so cool, man. It's like coming from like the background, right? Like, and it's so interesting to learn people's story,
Yeah.
like what you've been through, and it's like all this life has happened, right? And then you get up to that point where it's like, okay, because I would feel the same way, and like my past is obviously much different, but it was like I grew up going to church. So it's kind of like, all right, well, that was part of what we did, right? So every Sunday you're there, and then we would go to youth group every Wednesday. And so it's just like that was normal. And then I was kind of around it. But then like even going through, it's such an interesting thing, because you go through like college, and then it's like, well, now the routine is different. So it's like, well, I'm not really going to church, and I'm not really around it.
Busy.
Yeah. Yep. And so
church isn't that important anymore. Yeah, no, I went through it myself.
It's so crazy though, because as you get away, or at least for me, and it's not that I got away from it, but it was like at certain points, like as things weren't working and life was just difficult, whatever, like I'd be like, oh man, I really miss that. Like I need to find that. And so it's like, but it's not really like it could be different in that position, because it's like, okay, well, I played basketball in college, so I got all these guys, and like you're kind of that scene, right? Like you're kind of in college, and it's just there's so much stuff going on.
It's very secular.
Right? Yes, yeah. And so, it's like you're drawn away from it, but then coming back, you feel like it just makes sense. Right, like
totally.
And this is exactly what you're saying.
And then I look back, I'm like, man, how much better had my life been if I just never got away from it? You know, I would have made a lot better decisions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even then, even when I was living that secular lifestyle, like I would do things that were wrong, and I knew they were wrong. Yeah. And I just didn't care. Sure. But something always told me it was wrong.
Yeah.
And then now that voice in my head is much louder.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll say things even, and I'll be like, oh, man,
yeah,
I didn't even really mean that.
No.
Why did I say that? You know? And I think that's just God speaking to me. And just kind of keep helping me live a better lifestyle.
Super cool, man.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think that for I think that's going to be pretty powerful for people. Especially men out there.
Yeah.
Right. Like, because sometimes it's like one of these things you don't really talk about it. So having fun conversation about it.
Yeah, no, I love it, man. I theology is one of my favorite topics right now.
Yeah.
That and history, if you're at my house, a podcast is going to be on, and it's probably either going to be about history or theology.
Okay.
And that's just what I love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm a Protestant. I do love studying other forms of Christianity, Orthodox and Catholicism. And, I don't know if I'll be a Protestant forever. Maybe I will be, maybe I won't be. But
sure.
I love learning, and I love just kind of getting a better understanding. And it's kind of weird. It's like one of those things that maybe like, maybe guys could relate, like in the strength world. Like there was probably a time in your life where you thought you knew what you were doing in the gym, and then you look back and you're like, oh, what the hell was I doing? I was wasting time doing things wrong. And that's the same thing with history and theology for me. I'm like, I used to think I knew a lot. Now I know enough to know I don't know much at all, and I got a lot of learning to do. And my life's better for it, for sure. My life is definitely better for it. I mean, I probably drive some of my friends crazy, you know what I mean? Because it's a big topic that I like to talk about, and they're just like, dude, oh God, here we go again.
Yeah.
But, and then I have other friends who I would say are closer friends now too, that love it and want to and kind of talk about it more.
Sure.
And I try to surround myself around better people now.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, man, my circle is very small. I don't have a big circle, and everyone in my life is pretty solid, you know what I mean? And kind of has the same mentality and the same frame of mind as me. Yeah. So I'm very fortunate for that. God kind of put the right people in my life.
Yeah. I mean, this just, I mean, is a huge thing, who you surround yourself with, right? I mean, because that's going to dictate so much. I mean, I try to talk to kids about it a lot, right? Like as you're growing up, it's like, well, who are your friends?
Yeah.
Where are they going?
Right.
Like, what are they going to do in life? What are their ambitions? And, it's so crazy, because at the time, like when you're in high school or whatever, you got the popular, oh, these guys are popular, whatever. Your circle, keeping your circle small, it's one of those things that I think is not a bad thing.
No,
right?
I agree.
Like having a bigger circle, okay, cool, right? But like the especially your inner circle, like the people directly around you can make your life so much better, or so much worse.
Yeah, they can take you down very quickly.
Yeah,
just even with clients that I train, that I work with, with personal training, our moods affect each other. 100%.
Big time.
Do you have a client come in and they're like down, and I feel it, I'm like, oh dude, come on, bro. I gotta be in this garage for 10 more hours today. Like,
let's
bring
get
the energy up, bring the energy up. Like, come on, I know you had a rough night, but we all have them. Like,
did you find that with lifting partners?
Oh, 100%. I was a good power lifter until Foster Parnell, my training partner, joined my gym, and then I became a great power lifter. It was because I was always just so much stronger than everyone else. It was, if it weren't for social media, I wouldn't even know what other people were capable of because there wasn't really anyone around doing crazy lifts, or crazy strong lifts.
Yep.
And then I'll never forget this. Foster joins my gym. And we're prepping for a competition. We weren't in prep. It was off season, so we're doing more volume and hypertrophy work, but powerlifting specific work.
Yep.
And we had a deadlift AMRAP with 600 pounds.
Okay.
And I was stronger than him on all 3 lifts, but deadlift he was very close to me on.
Okay.
And we had an AMRAP as many reps as possible. So I went first because I was stronger, so I was supposed to go first to kind of
set the bar.
Yeah, set the bar. So I hit 600 for 8, and I knew I could have done more.
Okay.
But I hit 600 for 8, and he hit 600 for 12.
Oh boy.
And mind you, this is no straps and stuff like that, so our hands were a limiting factor.
Yeah.
And he hit 600 for 12. And Foster, he's a good shit talker.
I bet. Yeah.
So, and he would not let me forget that. And he was talking all this shit. I was like, all right, this motherfucker's never going to beat me on a deadlift AMRAP ever again. And he never did.
Okay.
And, but he helped take me to that next level,
Yeah.
Of course, with the help of Chad Wesley Smith as well. But having someone in there to suffer with too.
Sure.
I mean, training hard is suffering.
Yeah.
I know World Strongest Man or Strongman training is different than powerlifting, but same concept and things. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I'm in there for 4 hours for a workout, eating in the middle of the workout. You know what I mean? Maintain my calories and and just suffering.
Sure.
And when you have someone else that's going through it with you, it makes it easier for sure.
Yeah.
It makes it much easier.
Yeah.
I remember, Foster, and he wasn't as strong as me in squats. He was a little behind me in squats. I remember one day, I think I had like 685 for like 8 sets of 6 or something like that. Ridiculous off-season hypertrophy capacity building. And his was like 525. And he's like, we're like 3 sets in. He's like, dude, I don't know, man. I don't think I'm going to get there. And I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, I'm doing over 100 pounds more than you. He's like, yeah, this is easier for you than it's for me. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm doing more weight. In no world is this easier,
Yeah.
But just a little side thing. It was just fun. I love that guy. We had a good time training together.
I tell you what, man, a good training partner can be such a difference maker.
Totally.
Such a difference
And a
maker.
bad training partner could bring you down.
Yes.
Someone that wants to leave early, that's, we don't need to do that. It's like it kind of wears on you. So, being surrounded about people that have similar goals and are motivated the same things as you is very important in my opinion.
I would say that was probably one of the biggest battles for me was finding like guys that were willing to go through it.
And not too many 6'8" monsters running around.
Well, and it wasn't. Here's the thing, though. It wasn't about how much they could lift. To me, it was never about that.
Intensity.
Yes.
Right.
But the attitude and the effort, right? So like one guy that I trained with for years, never the strongest guy in the gym, right? But every freaking day, man, the guy would show up and like he would set the tone. Like a lot of times he would lead off if we were doing squats, for example. He would lead it off. And it was like, well, that guy's going hard.
Yeah.
I'm going to go harder.
Right.
So it wasn't about the weight on the bar. Definitely not. It was like the attitude.
Yeah.
It was like, all right, we're gonna get better. And then it was like, well, if he's not gonna back down, he's gonna push himself. I'm gonna push myself harder.
Right.
So it's one of those things. But when you're the strongest in the group, in the area, in the state, whatever, all of it, right? Like finding that group of true killers that are like, hey, we're gonna come in and push, but it's not exactly the same weights, right? But it's like the mentality,
the intensity,
the mentality is there.
I preach that to my clients all the time. Like when we start training, I'm like, listen, like, man, I've worked with world champions. Okay, you're never going to impress me on the numbers. Okay, you're just not.
Yeah.
But you can impress me, or you can very disappoint me by your effort. As long as you give it 100%, I'm going to be a happy guy. You know, and that sticks with them. You know what I mean? I remind them. I'm like, hey, effort. Just give me effort. You know what I mean? I don't care what's weights on the bar.
Did you find that? I'm just remembering all this stuff, but it's like I had guys that would come in, right, and it'd be like, oh, I'm going to come train strongman. And so I had my gym, which was private, right? And so there's nobody watching. There's no attention. There's no crowd. There's no nothing. And so it's like we're going through and deadlift, right? So you're warming up for deadlift. And it was, warm-ups, okay, whatever. You're 2 plates, 3 plates, 4 plates. But 5 plates is still warming up, right? And a lot of guys would walk in, and I think that would be the kind of like, the light bulb would go off and it'd be like, holy cow, 5 plates is warming up. Like that's not like everybody in the gym's pulling 6, 7, 8 more, so that was kind of like the moment where I could kind of figure out if they were going to stick around or if it was like, wait a minute, I'm not getting a whole bunch of people watching me at 4 plates, deadlift 4 plates.
Right.
Like,
I had a small
nobody
little,
cares.
I had a small little 1,200 square foot gym. There was never a lot of people in there. You know, you had to do it for yourself.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And you had to be motivated. Also, not to skip over, I definitely got some training with Nick Best back in those days and stuff like that. And that was another guy who was at that level. So it would be motivating, you know? And so, you know, then I would see Nick do something. I'm like, okay, well, it's possible.
Yep.
There's a human being doing this. So
Sure.
you know, I can do it too.
Yeah.
That was another good guy out here to train with every now and then. Was Nick.
Man. It seems like there was a good crowd.
It was, man. It was.
Nick's talked about it before. We've had
me and Nick have had some good workouts together, and I tell you what, you know, I remember when Nick was training at this parkour gym. You know, like parkour, like the jumping stuff.
Yeah.
And Nick had this little corner that he was training in.
I remember that. What year was that?
Maybe 2016.
Okay, I remember him talking about it because he took some equipment in there, right? Or something.
Yeah, he brought some equipment into my gym.
Okay.
Yeah, he brought some his big old yellow 100-pound plates.
Yep.
Those were in my gym for the whole time we had the North Gym.
Yeah.
And he brought some other stuff in too. I can't remember the time, but that's and then like there was one guy from Iceland. That trained Strongman with Nick. He trains with Hathor like when he was in Iceland, but he was here in Vegas.
Oh, Stefan probably.
Maybe he was a smaller guy, but high intensity.
Yeah.
He wasn't very big, but he was stronger than shit. I mean, maybe he was like a 250, 275 pound guy.
I'm sure I know who.
So big, but not big in our world, right? In that world.
Yeah. Did he compete at that level?
I honestly don't know. He didn't speak. He was a man of few words.
Yeah.
He's
just intense.
Fucking intense.
Okay.
So yeah,
Fair.
I would get some workouts in with him and Nick there, and there were tough workouts. Tell you what, you know, it was cool, you know. And I learned from Nick too. And I grew up watching Nick Best and you guys on World's Strongest Man. You know, I was fortunate enough to grow up in a household that had DirecTV.
Yeah.
So on Christmas, or maybe it was Christmas Eve, but they would do the rerun of World's Strongest Man from the original all the way to present day. And I never missed a single one. I would watch them all the time. And then you know, it was just cool to be out here and then training with Nick. I'm like, man, I used to watch you on World's Strongest Man, dude. And it was awesome, you know. And then even meeting you and being able, like, I remember, man, when you texted me for the match, I was like, wow, dude, like, I've looked up to this guy for a very long time. Now I'm having an opportunity to be on the same stage competing against him. I'm like, this is pretty fucking cool, man. So,
no, it was good, man. It was like getting into the arm wrestling. It's why I was asking you about like the lifting and leaving that behind. And, you know, it's like you go through where, like for me, with Strongman, I called my shot, right? Like it was like, hey, I'm good. This is my last contest. That's where it's at, and I'm gonna walk away, right? Like,
I didn't really have that.
No, and that's the difference. It's like okay, you hit this low, but then you find something else to kind of fill that. Fill that competitive void. You know.
Yeah, and arm wrestling, like I was never a super strong upper body guy. Like legs and hip strength is where I kind of excelled. You know, my best bench was 573 in competition. I did 585 in the gym. So again, like, I mean, okay, that's normal people will be like, what the fuck? That's crazy.
Yeah.
But like in the super heavyweight division of powerlifting, there's, you know, a lot of 600 pound benchers, a lot of 600 plus pound benchers and stuff like that. I never quite got to that threshold, but, you know, upper body wasn't really my stronghold. I had a decent overhead press. I hit a 390 pound strict standing overhead press on a barbell.
Okay.
Barely missed 405, but, it, you know, which is, you know, decent, but not freaky or anything. Like, you know. So getting into arm wrestling, I didn't have like a natural, like great ability at it.
Sure.
I was strong and I love to train, so I knew I can get strong at it.
Sure.
And there's one thing that my wife will definitely tell you that I'm good at doing the same thing over and over again.
Just
you know?
Rinse and repeat.
Give me a program and I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? So transitioning into arm wrestling at first was tough. And it kind of sucked because I had all these high expectations from people being, you know, a world champion powerlifter. And it's like I never once had an amateur event ever. You know what I mean?
Just jump in.
My first tournament I did, it was in Utah. I did, it was a small turnout tournament. I ran through everyone pretty well, but I was training for about 6-7 months at this time, so I knew how to arm wrestle. And even being there at my first tournament, all the arm wrestlers are like conspiring on how to beat me and stuff like that.
Of course.
You know, I'm like, fuck guys, like this is my first time ever doing this. Like someone throw me a fucking bone here. I need some help, dude. I need some guidance. And then even a funnier thing is before that, these guys are all trying to show me their squat video before. I'm like, I don't care, dude. I want to arm wrestle. Like, golly, you know, your 400 pound squat doesn't impress me.
No.
You know, so And then,
awesome.
so Dave Depew, who owns Grinder Gym in San Diego, he's been arm wrestling for 15, maybe 20 years. He's always been a good friend of mine. He hit me up and he was like, "Hey man, do you want to have a super match with me at my King of Cali event?" This is when Derek Smith was pulling Tim Bresnan at. And so I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "I'm getting invited to do a super match. Like that's crazy."
Yeah.
Because super matches are very new in arm wrestling. It's like a big thing. Yes. Yeah, they haven't been around for they've been around, but they haven't been a big thing. It's always been tournaments.
Yes.
So so Dave hit me up and I was like, okay. So now I'm preparing for Dave. I remember me and my wife, we're in Montana. We're off-roading out in Montana. We're on a trail. And that's when Dave called me, and I was like super excited. I was like, okay, now we got to get home, buckle down, train hard.
Yeah.
And I'm in prep for Dave. I'm about maybe 6 or 8 weeks out from pulling Dave. My first super match ever, by the way. Only second competitive arm wrestling thing I've ever done.
That's wild.
And I wake up in the morning from I have 2 voice messages from Larry Wheels.
Okay.
And me and Larry have been friends through the powerlifting world and stuff.
Yeah.
We've competed against each other and stuff like that.
Sure.
I beat him. And, but I was also bigger than him. I was a bigger weight class.
Yeah.
But so I get 2 voice messages from Larry, and it's asking me if I want to compete at King of the Table in Dubai. King of the Table 2 to be specific.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
that's awesome.
I'm so rookie,
Yeah.
And Larry had been arm wrestling for about 2, maybe 2.5 years or so at that time. I was still less than a year in.
Sure.
So I was like, all right, like, and he's like, don't announce this yet. We're gonna announce it. I think it was kind of like, wait to see how you do against Dave. Before we lock this in.
Yeah.
So so now I had a lot of pressure on me that no one knew about.
Of course,
going to San Diego to pull Dave, and I ended up beating Dave 3-0. And then I was like being announced that I was pulling Larry Wheels.
Yeah.
And I was, the internet can be ruthless.
Yes, it can.
And everyone's saying, oh, it's a waste of time. Send Eric Spoto out. And I was like, dude, guys, Eric Spoto's on a different level than Larry. I promise you that.
Yeah.
You don't want Eric going out there.
Yeah.
And then you kind of maybe believe it a little bit. You're like, fuck, am I going to go out there and just get my arm broken? Like,
yeah. What's going on?
So, but it was a good motivating factor being the underdog. So I was like, okay, like I got, I think maybe it was 2.5 months or so, 2 months, something like that. Maybe it was a little longer than that. Maybe it was 3 months. And I was like, I got 3 months to really hone in and turn this up. So I went on my autistic mode of same thing every day.
Just
you know what I mean? Train.
Yeah.
And I went out there to Dubai and I beat Larry 4-2. And it was an awesome match. I lost the first 2 and then came back and won.
Yep.
And it was, I kind of knew after the first match, because my open arm top roll King's move.
Yep.
And I don't really like a King's move is when you drop below the table is when that's how it kind of used to be allowed. That's not really allowed anymore in arm wrestling. You have to stay above the table. So it's an open arm top roll.
Yeah.
And I knew around 1 when I was able to put the brakes on, I was like, oh, I'm going to beat him. Like, because if he just slacked me down 3 times in a row, it is what it is.
Sure, different.
And so I knew when I put the brakes on, but he got the pin. I knew I was like, okay, I'm going to win. And then the second round, I put the brakes on. I started climbing up, and I came in too early, and Larry was able to hook me and pin me down. I remember walking over to my wife and look at her face. She's like, and I was like, babe, I'm going to win this.
I
promise
got
you.
it. Yeah.
I'm going to win this. He's not going to pin me again, I promise you. And then that's how it went. He didn't pin me again, and I won 4.
Yeah.
And I had never done a press off the go ever in my life. Ever, not in training, never.
And that was the first time?
First time ever I did against Larry Wheels
Wow.
at King of the Table 2 in Dubai.
Okay.
So it was a pretty awesome experience. And that's where, obviously, me and Devin had been friends at this time. Devin, I owe Devin so much to my arm wrestling opportunities that I had. Devin gassed me up super hard. He was like, Brandon Allen, it's got Larry Wheels' next match has to be against Brandon. They're both power lifters. They're both strength monsters. It makes sense. You know what I mean? They're similar size. It needs to happen.
Sure.
So thank you, Devin, because I know I got that match because of Devin Laird for sure.
Yeah, man.
So
that's great though.
Yeah, so then then that's where I got to meet. Well, I actually met John Brzezinski a month or 2 prior at a local tournament that we were at, and it was like John's like last warm up match because John was pulling Devin.
Yep.
So I got to meet John one time before we went, and he was super cool. We hit it off great, and then in Dubai, me and John got to know each other really well.
Love it.
And we spent a lot of time together out there together. Just being in Dubai together. And then him living in Arizona, just a stone's throw away.
Yeah.
So me and John have become buddies, and which has been awesome, because here I am, this new guy in the sport, and the guys on the team are like, dude, you're hanging out with John Brzezinski,
right?
And I got John Brzezinski coming out for practice, like, what the fuck? Like,
that's so
which is cool, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've met a lot of cool people in arm wrestling, and I owe a lot of that to Devin. So, and obviously I love Devin. So yeah. So Dubai was a cool experience. Definitely not nowhere I need to go again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a different country, different world.
It is different. It
was cool. Just I did it. I don't need to do it again.
Sure.
I like being right here in the US of A.
Not bad, man.
So
I'm with you.
Yeah. So then the after beating Larry, that sparked the arm wrestling community for me.
Yes.
But then it was kind of weird when I got back. I got guys that are 15-year pros trying to hit me up for a match. I'm like, who don't have an Instagram following or anything. They just want to build clout up on me. I'm like,
sure,
bro, I'm a year and a half into this. Leave me the hell alone, dude. I need to I got a lot of learning to do.
Yes.
And a little bit of a disadvantage was I never got to lose like out of the spotlight, like take those licks and lose a lot because you got to lose to learn.
Yeah.
And I never had an opportunity to pull at like a lower level. It was always like kind of, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like Larry's a high level arm wrestler, but he's very strong.
Yeah.
And good enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, all these opportunities come about, and then I had several other super matches, and always done very well. And then I suffered a first big loss versus RVJ, Robinson Jr. He is a grip specialist. He is, I believe, a world champion in his weight category for grip stuff.
Okay.
The freakiest big hands you've ever seen on a 230-pound guy.
Just massive.
Massive, long fingers. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't fit his body at all.
Yeah.
If he had legs, the dude would be 275. But he has the comically skinny legs I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. RVJ, I love you.
Yeah.
So I pulled RVJ at Knuckles Up in New Jersey. And that was maybe 3 years ago now. I got my ass whooped. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a match. It was a fight. But I like to think you may have watched that video because he beat me the same way you beat me.
I mean, I maybe watched it a time or two. I don't know, a couple.
Yeah. So I needed the strap against RVJ because of his hand, and I just had to eliminate that factor and get the strap in.
Sure.
Wasn't able to get to it, and he worked me.
Yeah.
And then and then I can't even think if I had any. I don't think I've had any big matches since then. Oh, Leroy Walker, me and him had a great match.
Yeah. That was last year, right? At the
last year at Olympia, and I actually lost. I came out strong, and then just gassed out. I didn't show up my prepared self.
Sure.
And Leroy is not a guy you can show up not prepared for.
Yeah, for sure.
He's a very strong threat, and you and him would be a great match too. He's strict, 250-pound strict curl.
He's very into that. Yeah.
705-pound raw bench press.
Yeah.
Just a freak, you know what I mean? So
he was a bench specialist, right?
Yeah, he was a bench only guy. He didn't do full power.
Yeah.
So I've known Leroy forever from powerlifting too.
Yep.
So hand has always been my weakest link. You know what I mean? Even in powerlifting, I pulled 887 at that Kern meet and dropped it. After locking it out on the way out, dropped it because he just kind of rolled out of my fingers.
Hold it all the way down.
All the way down controlled. So that cost me $30,000 because that was a $40,000 price for the first place, and second place was $10,000. So by dropping,
if you could have held that deadlift,
I would have won the 30. Well, mind you, I had the highest total, and in no world was I not the strongest guy there, other than the little fake formulas that they make up to appease the small guys.
Aren't those ridiculous?
It's just to get more people in the sport so promoters can make more money, because then it gets smaller people, to feel relevant. And I may be talking shit a little bit, which is totally fine, because there's some young guys and smaller guys now that are coming up that are crushing it, and it'll crush super heavyweights. So,
sure.
But at that meet, I lost to Yuri Belkin through the Wilks formula, which favors a 240 guy over a super heavyweight.
Big time.
So,
yeah,
if I had hit that deadlift, I would have got first.
Yeah.
Which I got first in super heavyweight and the highest total of the day by 200 pounds. But,
sure.
I wasn't the strongest guy because of the formula.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, it is. But you know the rules going into it. You sign up for it, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
But so back into arm wrestling. Yeah, dude, it was super cool. I met you last year at this time at Olympia, and we got to do some left-handed pulling, and I knew you were special because my left hand again isn't good or anything, but it's good enough to beat a guy that doesn't arm wrestle. For sure, and beat some guys that do arm wrestle. Yeah. So when we were pulling, and I was like, okay, I was like, all right, I'm going to be a little more aggressive on this one. Same thing. I was like, oh yeah, you're special. And Devin warned me.
It was fun, man.
Yeah, Devin warned me, and it was so hard not to grip up right-handed. My right hand's like 30% stronger than my left.
Yes.
And I was like, I just want to,
because you had Leroy like the next day, right?
Next day or two. Yeah, something like that. Well, the next day I actually ended up working a 13-hour day.
Oh, man.
Which wasn't expected. I
was
supposed to have a couple small jobs that turned into an electrical nightmare, and I had a lot of electrical work to do. So.
Crap.
again, not making excuses. Leroy beat me fair and square.
Yeah.
But yeah. So but pulling you that time was awesome, and then just meeting you for the first time in person after watching you for all the years and seeing you at the expos and stuff like that. When I was competing in powerlifting, you to be there. And I actually met you at the LA Fit Expo a long time ago when I wasn't even big into powerlifting yet.
Yeah.
I remember shaking your hand. I would always tell people this joke. I'm like, he's got banana fingers. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, he wrapped his hand around. I was like, let me have my hand back. And it was funny when then, fast forward and then I get the text message from you from the arm wrestling match. I'm like, oh, that fucking hand, man. I'm gonna deal with that thing, dude. And which was super cool because the summer was getting ready to start. And I just started my cut. Yeah. I was down to like 265.
Yeah.
And, trying to get healthy for the summer with the baby and whatnot. I didn't have anything planned, so I had no reason to be big and strong.
Of course.
And I'm one of those guys that's very body weight dependent on strength.
Got it.
I have to be heavy to be strong. You know what I mean? Like, I am not strong at 265.
Got it.
At 300 pounds is where my strength really starts to
skyrocket.
That's
where you feel good.
That's where I feel my strongest. But my quality of life goes down a little bit at 300 as well,
Sure.
Breathing, sleep apnea and stuff like that all amplifies as I get heavier.
Yeah.
So I remember I was like 265, and then you texted me, and I was so fucking fired up. I was so excited.
Yeah.
And I showed my wife. I'm like, look.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, you need to start eating.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Time to eat.
Yeah. So the diet went crazy. 32 ounces of ground beef, 8 eggs, pound of bacon, 8 cups of white rice, 3 or 4 packs of top ramen a day, like whatever he took to get the calories and get the weight back
awesome.
up.
Yeah.
So I actually, when you texted me to when our match was, I think it was maybe 4.5, 5 months, something like that.
Yeah.
I went from 265 to actually 323 on the day of our match.
Were you 323?
323.
Wow.
I went in at 315 the morning before.
Yeah.
And I hadn't eaten yet or anything.
Yeah.
And then the next morning with force, I went to that barbecue place with Jerry Pritchard and Bubba and stuff, and started force feeding hard.
Yeah.
And the last I stepped on the scale was 323.
323.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
So,
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah. So I came in as heavy as I possibly could.
Yeah.
For that short.
What's the top body weight in powerlifting?
375.
375.
Yeah. At 6'1".
Damn, man.
Yeah.
That's wild.
1 foot in the grave, knocking on the devil's door, hoping he doesn't answer.
Yeah, that's.
I had daytime apnea at that point.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's wild for your frame, man. 375.
Yeah, 375. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I remember I was so narcoleptic because I would never sleep because the sleep apnea was so bad.
Horrible.
And I would fall
asleep. Did you have a CPAP?
Oh yeah, but
okay.
But
it still was.
Yeah, it just didn't matter. I was such in bad shape physically.
How long were you at that type of weight?
I was 350-ish for about 3 years. And it probably aged myself pretty bad those 3 years.
Sure.
My hair started falling out back then and all that kind of stuff too. So I used to have real long hair and a big beard.
You did. You were kind of known for that.
Yeah.
Man.
And then, the reason why I shaved my head, and actually I'm growing it out a little bit now, but the reason why I shaved my head is I was doing grip training, I was training for a grip competition that I had done.
Yeah.
And I hit a sick Saxon bar deadlift.
Okay.
Probably nothing for you. The long fingers, and your hands are way stronger than mine. But it was like I'm sorry, I wish 3. It was like 232 or something like that. I remember I hit a real sick grip lift for me on a Saxon bar in the video, and I look and I'm like, what the fuck? And I screenshot, zoom in, and I just see this bald spot, like super thin bald spot on my head. And I send the video to my wife.
Yeah.
I'm like, and she's like, whatever. She's like, she's seen me deadlift fucking
she
almost
loves
900 pounds.
you anyway.
But either way, but a Saxon bar deadlift. She's like, oh, cool, babe. Like, awesome. I'm like, no, look again. And I start sending the screenshots and the zoom in. She's like, yeah, you've always had that. I'm like, I've always had this? Why haven't you told me? So I was like, hair's coming off. Shave the head. And that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, again, 375 was the biggest I ever got to, and that's obviously it wasn't anything good. And then even with the CPAP, I didn't even start getting good sleep until I was in like the 320s.
Really?
Yeah, it took a while to get down there. Crazy. And then I've learned that if I'm 275 or less, I can sleep without a CPAP.
Okay.
But above 275, I have to have it on.
Isn't that funny how you learn those weights?
Yeah, you learn what it is for you, right?
I have a funny story about the hair. So I was, Carrie and I were first dating, right? And so I had a contest in Sweden. And I used to go, I would go just like clockwork, right, to the barber. I had this barber shop, like the old school thing, and I would go in. And so I'd always keep my hair really short. But I was like, I'll go in there every couple weeks. And she came with me to Sweden, and it was this we're contests and whatever. And I think she had taken some pictures of her, some contest picture that came. And I was same type of deal. I was like, wait a minute. Like, I thought I was good, and it was not good. Like, it was not. And I'm like, I'm just dating her. So I'm like trying to be like, holy cow, man. Like, that's what I look like. And everybody in the audience sees it, but it's more important that she sees it.
Well, you're so tall that most people won't see it at least.
I know. And so man, I was not very pleased with that at all. So I was like, that was like the point where it was like, okay, head's getting shaved and we're rolling.
Right.
And it was like honestly, it's been the best thing though, because I can do it. I just do it every day.
I shave every morning usually. Yeah.
It's no problem.
I haven't shaved in 2 weeks. We went camping 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And it was the first time in 2 years I didn't shave for like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
I was like, let's see the damage, let's see how bad my bald is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not as bad as I remembered, but I don't know if it'll stay. We'll see.
But
I don't feel comfortable wearing a hat when I have my head shaved.
Yeah.
It just kind of rubs a little on the skin too much. I don't like it. Now I got a little bit helps, for wearing a hat.
That's funny, but you learn those body weights, so it's kind of like it's funny, like I'll go around now and I've like tried to lean down, like I've really actively tried to get down, and I'm probably right now like 375, 380, which for me is like I feel
very lean.
Yeah, it's like way different, and it's still so funny because people come up like we're obviously at the Olympia here, and so everybody's coming up like, "Oh my God, you're huge!" And I'm
shell what I used to be.
Yeah, it's so strange to get those comments though, because it's like, well, I was at one point, I was like my biggest probably 470, like 460 to 470, my biggest,
right.
So it's like different to be like, well, I'm 375 or whatever.
Yeah, it's a whole
and
hundred off.
And people, it's
that's me now, 280, and I've been 375, 100 pounds less.
Yeah.
And still, when I see people, they're like, "Damn, dude, you're huge." I'm like, "Stop."
Yeah.
You don't know what huge is.
The perspective.
Yeah, you don't know what huge is.
Yeah, I think, and then the problem is like I think for both of us, you've been to that. So that's what big is.
Right.
So now it's like,
never satisfied.
Even me at 400 pounds is like, well, that's not big.
Yeah.
It's not.
When I was prepping for you and I was up to in the little north of 300.
Yeah.
And then I would see people, in my town, they're like, "Damn, dude, you're massive right now." I'm like, "Stop."
Yeah.
No, I'm just a little bigger than what I normally am.
Yeah. Rolling.
How do you feel though? Like, do you feel like strength is fine even when you're dropping weight?
I'm all right, man. Yeah, I've noticed, it's I can maintain a pretty good level of strength, like even coming down. Like I haven't really, I would say that for my strength with Strongman, there was certainly like a point where like I needed to kind of be.
Sure.
But I also would get a bad relationship with the scale. So I was a guy that never weighed in.
Oh, really?
I would never weigh in.
Oh, I weighed myself every single morning.
See, that's wild.
And sometimes at night to make
sure. And I got, I would say early on in my career I did. But it would turn to a bad thing for me, because it'd be like I'd hop on the scale, and if I didn't see the number that I thought I was supposed to be at, then I was weak.
Dude. So that's why I weighed myself every morning, so I would never let it get too far off.
Okay.
Like if I weighed myself once a week or once a month, and if I was 10, 15 pounds under where I thought I was supposed to be at, I would I'm not even going to the gym. I'm going to the buffet.
Sure.
Like there's no point in working out in this state. Like this is pathetic.
It was always I always took it as training dependent, right? So like if the training felt good, the weights felt good, I didn't care what I weighed.
Yeah, I didn't have that mentality. I had to see that. Bro, I could literally be so fired up and jazzed up. I can step on the scale and see someone I like, nope, I'm not working out today. This is going to be a horrible workout. I need to go eat more. I'll do or I'll come back in a few hours. So I got to go eat. I'm going to go in and out, put down like 4 or 5 double doubles, and then I'll come back and squat tonight, because this isn't happening.
Yeah.
And then there'll be times where I'm like, oh, maybe like I'm like 362 right now, and I'd see like 365. I'm like, oh, it's going to be a good day.
Yes. This is it.
We're going to hit something good.
Yeah, so I was not, and I was fine not weighing in. Like I was super comfortable with it.
I wouldn't even feel comfortable touching the weight until I knew what my body weight was.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like such a strange, because I did, it was such an unhealthy thing. Like I was like, okay, I cannot do that, because I would weigh in, then I got to where I was weighing multiple times per day.
Yeah, you probably would have been 500 pounds if you would have stayed
too
on
much.
it hard.
It would have been too much. Yeah. It was talk at a certain point. I remember there's like when I was up north of 450, there was like a few people were like, man, you should just push for 5. Like just
It's kind of cool to say you did it.
Yeah, and I was somewhat convinced for like a little bit to be like, man, 500 pounds. What if I got to 500?
That'd be wild. You wouldn't be able to deadlift.
I
belly would be in the way.
Probably not. Probably
that's
not.
what I learned too with powerlifting. As my body weight went up, my squat and my bench went up, and my deadlift suffered.
Interesting.
Because you'd get in the way. Like, I never even wore a belt when I deadlift.
Yeah.
Just
but
raw.
your squat was probably through the roof.
Yeah. I would, if I would lose 10 pounds, I would lose 30 pounds on my squat. And
Interesting.
or maybe even more than that. And I remember my bench was super body weight dependent.
Interesting.
If my body weight was lower, my bench suffered quite a bit.
Interesting.
Yeah, I had to maintain body weight very well for bench. And bench was one of those things that stay stagnant for me. Like, I remember just as a gym bro, I benched 545 balancing in the gym.
Yep.
And then my first meet pausing it was like 490. And then, my max bench I ever did in comp was 573. So it kind of always stayed stagnant. But to be honest, squatting, on a straight bar would destroy your elbows.
Yes.
Especially a low bar squat.
Yep.
So I'd never even done bench pressing when I was at my strongest with healthy elbows. They're always so wrecked from squats.
Yeah.
So maybe I could have been a higher, or maybe a low 600 pound
Were
bencher.
you a big fan of specialty bars?
I had to use an SSB bar or a Buffalo bar quite a bit there towards the end of my career when I was bigger.
Yeah.
Because the bigger I got and the tighter everything got, the harder it was to get under the bar.
Yep.
And dude, I'll be honest, the last 2 years of my powerlifting career, the only thing that hurt when I squatted was my elbows. I didn't feel anything else. I don't even feel my back or my legs at all.
Your elbows
my
light
elbows
up.
hurt. I would hit a squat and I would just, oh my God, I just cannot get that toothache pain to go away.
Horrible.
And it killed me. And so finally it came to a point where, Chad was doing my program. He's like, bro, we got to use the SSB, the safety squat bar. We got to keep the elbows in front. We got to, and that's kind of an ego hit.
Yes.
Because that's going to drop you 15% at least.
Massive. Yeah.
In terms of weight with those J hooks pulling you forward.
Yeah.
But it definitely helped my lifting. But I just, I was so sport specific. I just wanted to be on the right bar all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And always bench with a pause, always deadlift without straps.
Sure.
I probably limited my strength on some things too by just being so specific and kind of egg-headed on those things.
It'd be interesting. Like, I know for me, I really, early on, it made sense to me like, hey, look, why not use a safety squat bar and then a spider bar or just a cambered bar? Yeah. And I would just cycle those for squats, and then I would force myself to get stronger with that. But the correlation between the safety squat bar and the spider bar to my deadlift going up, that's where it started to really pay off and make sense to me.
Makes sense.
But then I didn't pay the price with my shoulders and my elbows.
Right.
Like,
but you also in strongman a straight bar squat isn't a really. Am I wrong?
No.
Yeah, I don't think you ever really see it much at all.
I figured out a lot of times what we would have for a squat would be a axle.
Right.
So they would use an axle with like the big,
those big
globes.
big rubber things, and you would hit a platform, right?
Yep. You'd come down and touch. So but I could transition to that, and the strength was no problem.
Okay.
Right. Like I could essentially train with that, and then probably for, I'd say maybe 6 weeks, throw it in. And by the end of that 6 weeks, like, I would be feeling it.
Right.
But I was ready.
Right.
But the strength was there, no problem. So I could come down and, that one, the control is a big problem.
Right.
So like keeping that.
Yeah, not wanting it to roll on you.
Oh my God.
And is it on the weights fit, or is it fixed?
Pretty fixed.
Oh wow, yeah, that would be tough.
Yeah. I learned my lesson. So it was like 2014. We had it in the final, and it was 7. What was the weight then? Probably 715, 720, maybe something like that. And so I was like, oh man, this is great. And I got to 10 reps.
Crazy. And
I got too excited, and momentary lapse of like concentration, and that axle rolled on me a little bit, and I was done.
Yeah.
And so I came back. We had it again in 2017, and they bumped the weight a little bit. I can't remember if they went closer to 750. A lot of times they would modify a touch, but it was probably in the 720 to 750 range, right? And so I was like, I'm not losing this thing, right? So like, I'm just going to train a pause. So I'm going to train literally a pause squat with 750 pounds, and I can do it all day long, right? So I go and I'm training for that contest, and so I had special gloves so I could lock in and just suck that axle
Right.
in. And so I'm just locked in, man. And so the thing that I lost out on is I didn't look at the rules for the time limit, right? Because I had trained this, and I trained this like ridiculous.
Right.
Like I was so and some of the training I was doing by myself because at that time I was like cycling through some training partners. But I was in the garage, had set up the camera, like I had trained it, and I figured they would potentially set me low, right? Because this was just kind of how World's Strongest Man worked at that point. It was a little bit of politics and some things going on. So I was like, hey, I'm going to try to set it low, because if I get there and I train it right to parallel and they put me an inch low or two,
right,
I'm going to be screwed.
Different, right? Yeah.
So I was that I would wear a suit, right? Deadlift, I never wore a suit, but squat, I was on, and I had it dialed in, and they set me so low that I actually I couldn't wear my belt on the outside of the suit, right? So to get down, I had to wear my belt inside the suit then wear it over, so I had to modify the day before. But anyway, I go out there, and so I walked out, and everybody thought I had made a mistake because I just wore knee sleeves. I didn't wear wraps, and everybody else had wraps on.
Yeah.
And
wraps guys that use them well and tight, they're getting 100 pounds out of those wraps for singles.
Yes.
Yeah,
And so, but for me, I was like, I had trained it, and it wasn't enough weight at 750 for reps to put the wraps on, because I was like, I have to squat this all day, right? Like, and I'm going to lose blood flow.
Yeah, your feet go numb. Oh,
Done.
Yeah, wraps are great for a single.
Yes.
And that's it.
Not. And so these guys, everybody's like, oh, Brian, you're making this huge mistake. What are you doing? So I walk out there. Anyway, I messed up because I didn't look at the rules. And in the rules, it says 60-second time limit.
Okay.
Right? So I'm out there, and I'm going, man. And like, I think I had to do, Eddie was in the lead. And I think I had to do 15, maybe 16.
Okay.
To beat him, right? And so I get to 13, I think I got to, and they blow the whistle. But I'm still squatting.
So
and
you
I'm
just
like,
kept
what
going.
I was like, well, guys, what are we doing? Like, and I'm like literally standing there, and I'm like, why are they blowing the whistle? I still have the weight. I haven't failed. Every rep's been fine.
Right.
And they're like, no, time's out. Right. So I had the ability to go.
Damn.
Like, I was like, it was ridiculous.
Were you kind of taking time at the top, and if you'd known that, you wouldn't have taken that much time?
Breathing. Well, I would have contested it in the rules meeting, and I said, why, if we're under load, because the deadlift is sitting on the floor, right? So time limit makes sense, because otherwise you can just take all day.
You can step back, right?
But when you're holding the weight in a squat,
you're burning energy no matter what.
You don't need to. There doesn't really need to be a time limit, right? Like, and so anyway, that's like one of the biggest things in my career, because I had trained it to pause. So I could come down and pause that, no problem, and then come right back up and breathe, and then take another squat and go back up and down. But it was like, it's one of those things, like, you just...
What do you think you would have got, though? 20?
I would have done... I think all I had to do was 16 to win. I could have done...
What do you think you could have done?
With the way that felt, 18 to 20.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was comfortable, man. I was strong. I was really, really strong in that. Like, but I trained it, so I would do that normal training, and then I would actually go as an accessory. I threw in belt squats that year. Quite a bit of belt squats, and part of the reason for that was because some of the training was by myself, so I could take myself into like a
failure, deep water
pain, like a pain tolerance zone that was absurd.
Yeah.
So like I couldn't, it would get to a point where I couldn't walk.
That's one piece of equipment I wish I had during my powerlifting career. I never had.
It would be interesting.
We ended up getting one at my big gym, but this was when I was already done competing.
Yep.
And I trained on it. I was like, damn, I could have really pushed myself on 100%. This thing. In a safe manner, too.
Yep. Because you don't have, I mean, it just, as an accessory movement, but it was so good, man. Like that belt squat. That's one piece that I was, because I got the old like West Side barbell one, the dynamic, where it had the
massive platform.
The platform, yeah. So I would do that, and then I would do a lot of rack pulls, but with the belt squat on.
Wow.
For deadlift.
Okay.
Like the lockout strength.
And you deadlifted 1100?
So the most elevated, most I did on that was 1140.
1140?
Yeah.
Off a rack pull? Crazy.
Yeah. And that, I mean, there's a video on that particular setup where the bar weight was, I mean, it's all hypothetical, right? Because you have the belt on, and then I think I had 1,000 on the bar probably, but it was like a combined weight of like 1365. And I could do reps with that, like, but lockout again. It's not a full deadlift.
Have you did you ever do like straight bar deadlifts off the floor, like strap, like powerlifting style? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah. So the most 1,021.
You did 1,021 off the floor.
Yeah, but with straps.
Oh, okay.
Raw, but with straps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Still.
But I don't think. Here's the thing. This was the interesting.
But I don't know if I don't even know if straps would be a limiting factor for you. Like, because your grip was so impressive.
I don't think. And this is so when I got into strongman, I did some deadlifting early on with no straps. So we had a max deadlift. This would have been 2008. So like my first year of like professional strongman, I turned pro in 2006, but like high level. So qualifying for World's Strongest Man, we did it with no straps, right? And so I pulled, what did I pull? I pulled low to mid eights in that contest. But
and how old were you?
20. God, I would have been 24 maybe?
Damn, that's so impressive.
Yeah, 24, 25, yeah.
Do you know how I first found out about you?
How?
MTV True Life.
Not me. That was
you?
That was Kevin Nee.
Oh, okay. I swear I thought it was you, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a little bit before me.
Oh, okay. My whole life, or my whole time watching it, when I would watch you on World Strongest Man, I was like, I remember this dude on MTV True Life.
Yeah.
Was it you?
No, it was Kevin.
Damn.
Kevin Nee, man. Yeah.
Oh wow, I feel silly saying that. I swear I thought it was you.
Yeah. Well, we can roll with it, whatever.
Oh shit! What? That was a long time ago. That was like early 2000s.
But it was weird because at that point in strongman,
wasn't he from Colorado too?
Arizona.
Oh, Arizona. Okay.
Yeah, he went to school at ASU. He was the youngest. They were doing this whole thing around him because he was so young, getting into strongman, and then he kind of big deadlifter though.
Yeah.
He was a big deadlifter. Like that was kind of his specialty. But yeah, the deadlift straps were the thing in strongman. So like after that point,
yeah, why would you train without them if that was the game?
they put it in.
Yeah.
So it was like every deadlift then was straps. So like if you're doing that, and their argument was, okay, well a lot of times you're doing a farmer's walk or frame carry, and that's how we're going to test the grip. Yeah. But it would have been interesting. That was always like one of those things, like a debate of, okay, holding 1,000 pounds, because I did an axle, so like a 2-inch axle. Yeah. And I still to this day, like this is still a record because I don't think anybody's stupid enough to go after it. But I did it with no straps, 848.
And that over under grip?
Yep.
Damn, 848.
Yep. And that is like there was two guys detached their bicep in that contest. Like right before I did that,
I bet
because you're trying to cup under.
Yeah, it's a weird, and their hands are so far from each other compared to like on a regular bar. Yeah. You know that 2-inch gap is a big difference. I mean, in my house, 2 inches is a big deal. Yeah. We count every bit of it. All right.
Yeah. So it would have been. I mean, the thing is like you get done with these things and like you can't say for sure. Okay, yeah, I would have been able to do that. But like Benny Magnuson's pull with 1016, that was always kind of like in the back of my head. It's like pull that raw with no straps.
Yeah, no suit, no straps.
Yeah, and just do that.
Yeah, that was pretty gnarly.
Like that would have been
like 2013 or
what was that? I had to be around 11, 12.
Yeah, around that time.
Yeah, but I mean that would have been the one, right? Yeah. Like in my mind, that would be like. And I know right now strongman deadlift, like everybody gets into these things, but like I'm not a big fan of the suits, and I'm not a big fan of the figure 8 straps. So if somebody were to walk in, like I always thought in my head, okay, if we do it raw, do it no straps, and that's the deadlift, right? Like that would be insane.
Yeah, that would. I mean, well, it's just like like people always powerlifters, they'll like when there's kids, guys that are pulling 900, and some guys now even getting to 1,000 with a sumo deadlift. But they're like, that's not like Hathor did this, or Brian or Eddie did this, and I'm like, yes, and that is insanely impressive, but it's a different lift. Yeah. I mean, it's the same lift, but it's a lot of different factors. Like especially. Like the USAPL guys, like Ray Williams, those guys that are deadlifting on, they're deadlifting on a bench bar.
Yep.
You know, it's just that one, it's a 30 millimeter bar.
Sure.
It's very little flex at all. And it's a 7 foot long bar.
Sure.
It's a different world. I'm not saying that like you guys wouldn't go into that and probably crush those numbers, but it's not the same as like pulling on the elephant bar.
No.
Or, you know, or pulling with straps in a suit and things like that. It's just kind of, it's different. Same world, but
it's and this is the thing is like a lot of people listening to this are going to be like you get down to specifics, but it's a big deal.
Yeah,
like at the top level, it's a big deal.
Well, I know, I always feel silly, like, oh, I'm the third American to squat 1,000, but that was like with the walkout. You know what I mean? Where there's other guys that were doing it in a monolift. But you know, I used to watch Kurt Kowalski videos and shit like that, and Kurt was like, hey, when I squatted 1,000, there was 4 or 5 guys that could do it in the gym, but in the monolift, I didn't count.
Sure.
They kind of walk it out.
It's a different
it doesn't
animal.
count.
It's a different
So
animal.
that kind of always stuck with me when I was powerlifting. Like, and then because the monolifts weren't really big yet, you know, when I was coming up, it was still kind of, you know, some meets did it, but it wasn't really regular.
Yeah.
And then now it's kind of the norm. Now everyone, all these guys, and these guys are squatting more weight and more impressive. But in the back of my head, you know, kind of being like, you know, the still kind of meathead that I am, I'm like, that's not the same.
Yeah.
You know, you got to walk it out.
Well,
you know?
it's, and I'm probably get ripped apart for this, but it's like you say about the suits and all that, right? But I would walk in and I would actively like advertise to the guys like I'm not wearing one.
Right.
Like why are you putting one on?
Right.
Right. Like you're weak because you're putting on a suit.
Yeah, it's doing it for you.
Yes. And so I mean I would same thing, man. With Eddie, I would give him a hard time. I would like because it would be like, oh, I gotta have my suit on. I gotta have these figure 8 straps. I gotta have all this. So it's like, dude, just put on normal straps and take your suit off, and then you know, but. Then it's like we had a once in 17 in that same contest. It was to be fair, it was a crazy deadlift like event that year in World's Strongest Man because Hofthor, Eddie, and myself were all above. So I finished that one with 1,016. Actually, I think Hofthor and I ended up tied because I couldn't go on. So I tore my hamstring on that lift. Mid lift, like right off the ground, I tore it, and you can kind of see if you watch the video, like it goes, and I'm like, I still finished it, right, and I went down to a knee, which I would never do, and I was like, all right, that was bad, that was like a bad moment because you tore and you know it's torn, but both those guys, and then Eddie ended up pulling like 1,036, I think, or around that weight. I might be off 1040 maybe. But it was a crazy lift, like, but both those guys were in a suit. Right. And I was always like, all right.
I get raw.
Yeah.
Same with me when I would compete, like, I don't wear a belt, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like KK, he never wore a belt. I would be like, I'm not wearing a belt, you know?
Which is wild.
Yeah. Just wild. I mean, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't even want the belt on the squat other than for the walkout. Because when you're picking up that big weight and then
stabilizing,
twisting, you know what I mean? I felt really uneasy without it on the walkout, but like I wore my belt pretty loose and stuff too. I didn't wear it tight, you know, and then like when I would get in the hole, I'm sure it gave me some support, obviously, otherwise it wouldn't have been on, but I didn't like it, you know what I mean? I liked being, you know, raw.
That's just walking. That's awesome, man. It's like, were you ever tempted by going like more geared powerlifting?
Never.
Not.
No, I never go full retard.
Yeah.
No, and when I first got into powerlifting, raw was on the climb. It wasn't really what it is today yet. And it was single ply and multiply and stuff like that. You know, Dave Hoff, guys like that, Westside Barbell.
Sure.
And it just never interested me at all. I remember Louis Simmons emailed me back in maybe 2013 or 2014 to invite to come out to Westside. And I didn't even really know what gear lifting really was that much. And it was like, oh yeah, you just need to bring your briefs. I'm like, why didn't you tell me to bring my own underwear? Of course I would bring my own underwear. Like,
I don't have those.
Yeah. And then I just didn't really know about it. And then I kind of learned what it was. And I was like, it's not for me, man.
Yeah.
I'm claustrophobic as hell as it is.
So getting in all that.
I've never been in one in my life, and I never will. I don't ever want to try it. You know,
Sure.
Even when my wife leans in to kiss me and her hair gets in my face, I'm like, oh, okay, you know, like, I'm super claustrophobic. It's not for me. You know,
too much.
And you know what's crazy? Another thing about that, that's like super body weight dependent on me. Like when I'm real heavy, I'm extremely claustrophobic. When I'm lighter, it doesn't bother me at all. And another thing too, it's a fear of heights. When I'm really heavy, I'm like super like terrified of heights. When I'm lighter, it doesn't bother me at all. Like when I was like 330, 340 pounds, putting up Christmas lights was like it was a test.
Concerning.
I didn't like it. And now it doesn't bother me at all.
Isn't that interesting?
It's just weird. I think it has to do with our ability to breathe.
Yeah.
Because when you're like labored and you're breathing, the last thing you want is
you're more
something closing in
panicked.
on you, you know?
Interesting. Yeah.
At least for me.
Yeah. So what's next, man?
I don't know, man. I'd love another arm wrestling match against another big guy. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's too many guys out there worthy. There was that one gentleman I met out there in Colorado, Eddie Hall.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I'd love to have a match with him.
Interesting.
You know? Eddie's one of those guys. Like he's so fun to watch, and he's such an amazing athlete. Like, I know he's better than me at a lot of things in the strength world, and he's definitely an ass whoopper. Probably whoop my fucking ass too. But I think in arm wrestling, I think I'd dog him.
That's not bad, man. That's not bad.
I think it'd be a fun match.
Yeah.
I think the press conference would be super fun.
Super fun.
Yeah.
Yes, it would.
You know what I mean? A good dance partner talking shit back. I think it would be a fun one.
Yeah.
But other than that, just still training, getting healthier. Like I said, I'm dropping down. I've already lost like 45 pounds since we've had our match.
That's crazy.
What, 2 months ago?
Yeah.
But I'll probably lose another 5 to 10 pounds, and then just wait till I get the call for another big one.
Sure.
If I get another big one, I'll bulk back up for it. You know?
Yeah.
But
just kind of wait and see.
Yeah, just wait and see. I'm not, I don't know. I train year round. You know what I mean? But I need a date. You know what I mean? I'm a guy that needs a date.
Yeah.
You know, you give me a date, I lock it in. You know,
Yeah.
And right now it's winter out here. starting. And so this is like where we go camping and go off-roading and stuff like that.
Family stuff.
Yeah, family stuff. So I'll enjoy that. And then the summer, unless you're on the water, there really ain't much to do out here. It's 110, you know what I mean? 115.
Yeah.
So summer I like lock down and try to work as much as I can and stuff like that.
Nice.
But as if right now, dude, just enjoying life, enjoying my daughter and my wife.
I love it.
Yeah, my little girl will be a year next month.
Wild.
And this year,
gone.
I mean, when I met you last, my wife was pregnant.
Yes, I know, man.
Yeah.
I know it's crazy it's crazy how fast it goes by.
I know.
And everybody.
I just brought her home. She was just that tiny little thing, and now she's almost walking.
Dude, everybody says it too, like with kids, and I think you notice it more once you have kids.
Sure.
Right? Because it's like
years feel like months.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you look back, and then you look at pictures, and it goes by so quick, and it's like that's the one thing that I feel like everybody kept saying to me. It's like, okay, well, it's gonna go by quick. It's gonna go quick. And it sure does.
Yep, totally.
It's wild.
It's like everyone told me, like, dude, it's a lot. It's gonna be exhausting, but it's 100% worth it.
Yes.
All the sleepless nights, all the cries, all the diaper changes, all that. When that little girl looks up for you and wants you, you're like,
man.
oh, dude, this is all worth it. I can do it again.
I saw this thing. I think it was actually yesterday. It was like basically like talking about that, right? Like because most of like our lives, like we're gonna see our kids as adults,
right?
So it's like this snapshot of time,
short,
that goes by so quick.
I think it's like what they say, like only a quarter of the life, or even less than that. Is like when you have them in those young years, and then they're just adults.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh well, there'll be a point where they don't want to hold your hand anymore and don't want to hug you anymore. They don't need you anymore. And it's like. Yeah, it's coming, and we're knocking on the door now with our boys.
Yeah.
Like they're getting more
you're
independent.
10 years away for one of them's an adult.
I know.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Think about how fast the first 7 or 8 went, right?
Silly.
Dude, I gotta ask though, man, what's up with you, bro?
Yeah.
Who you pulling next?
I don't know.
No one on the radar?
I genuinely don't know, man.
I watch your training. I know you're still motivated. I know you're still pushing.
Yeah. I'm still in the gym for sure.
Yeah.
It's kind of been one of these things where. Like I don't know. I don't know, man. It's I mean, that's probably a whole different conversation to have.
Yeah.
For sure. Where I think if I'm being honest, like there was some burnout, like, and not so much like for me with training. It was around our event.
Yeah.
Like it was a lot, like, and it wasn't even the arm wrestling. It wasn't even the strongman. It was just kind of like the whole thing.
Sure.
And so I think like I've kind of gone through this, like a little bit of a decompression period where I was like, hey man, I'm just going to go. And I think I need to, just for me, if I'm being honest, like I think I just need to fall in love with training.
Yeah.
Again. Right. Cause I think it's been a little bit of, this period of like, okay, we're coming off the event, you've got all this whatever going on, and then it's like, all right, I just need to fall in love with that.
Yeah.
Where again, it's that constant, and it's not that I haven't been in the gym, I still
I see your stuff.
But it's one of those things where it's like I just need to like truly just fall in love, like love it, love the moments, and have that as an outlet, and then like we'll see what's next. I mean, I there's definitely something next. It's just who, when,
right.
Like what's the opportunity?
You'll enjoy the process much more when it's not your own event.
Yeah.
Because I've ran tournaments and nothing to the
said,
level of
I
you.
remember you said that to me there. Yeah.
I'll never do it again. Like I will never compete at something that my hands are in ever again.
Sure.
It just takes it out of it for me. It's just not fun.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. The arm wrestling training for me, I freaking did not really like it when I first started. It was super boring and just not. I like moving big weight fast.
Sure.
It's a totally different world. And that's like I remember we were like poking at each other beginning and. I always talk about my strict curl, and you're like, oh, I was like, yeah, that's all I got. It's I had to find something that I loved, that was fun, that translated to the table in somewhat.
Sure.
So that's why I picked up on strict curl.
Yep.
Because it it definitely helps with my open arm top roll.
Yes.
And it's cool, and I get it. It's cool, big weight to move, and it like looks cool and stuff. It's just fun.
Yes.
So maybe once you find the right thing in your training that like motivates you, you'll be a little more fired up about it.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started, I was like, this is so boring.
Yeah. It's it's again, you have to be comfortable doing the same thing. A lot, right? And so I'm cool with that too. It's not that I'm not. It's more. I think it's just kind of like I needed this decompression period, like after the event, after everything, and then we'll see, man. It's like I just don't know. I don't know. I mean, that's a genuine answer. It's kind of like I just don't know, but it's something is next. It's just when. Right. Like when and who and again, it's like
and then with who you are, you can literally pull anyone in the world. They'll want to pull you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of. It's tough. I can see on how it's tough to make that decision. Like, who do I even care to put the put the axe down and train real hard for?
Yep.
And what's the right event and what's going to be the right exposure and whatnot? And I get it.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. I think this will be it'll be a good period, man. Like, just kind of get through it and figure it out.
I just hope we don't lose you, man.
No.
Because I know that event didn't go great or didn't go perfect. You know what I mean? There's things that could have gone better. And I remember when I first got into it and I had an event that didn't go great and stuff, I was like, dude, fuck this. Fuck these guys. I don't want to contribute to them anymore.
Yeah.
And then I just realized, there's other people in the sport that are awesome and, things, now look at me now, I love it, and I'm totally addicted to it now.
Yeah, it's an interesting perspective, man. I think, it is different to look at it like that. Like, and you see, there, without saying too much, it's like you get to kind of see behind the curtain a little bit, right? Like, and that's where things can get frustrating at times, and it's kind of like, and I'm sure I talked to you a little bit out there, like you got to see is like, man, it's frustrating and whatever. But it's like the thing that I will say is the athletes, like the guys that came for arm wrestling were awesome. Like it was genuinely like awesome. I think the event itself, awesome.
Oh, best experience I've ever had.
Wild.
All the powerlifting events I've been to, arm wrestling events I've been to. Knuckles Up was really awesome in New Jersey. They took great care of us. Your event was that next level. It was just so cool the way you guys took care of us, and the gifts you guys gave us, the bags, having a flat of water in my room, and all the snacks you guys gave. I was like, I don't have to go to CVS. This is awesome. Like, I was like, it's crazy. Like, I was like, well, this is clearly being ran by a competitor that knows what you need when you're in your hotel room away from home and stuff like that. So, it was the coolest event I've ever been a part of. I'm so grateful for you to give me that opportunity.
Dude, it was fun, man.
And,
it was fun.
Yeah, even though you whipped my ass, it was such an awesome experience. All my friends tell me, you got to talk shit to him and tell him you should have just started in the strap. I'm like, it's arm wrestling. It's not strap wrestling,
It's... I tell you what, man, it was interesting. It was fun. I learned a lot.
It was the elevation and things like kind of hit me a little quicker than I thought, because I felt so strong when we came out, and the first slip I got from you, I knew I was like, oh, that was a little tough, but I can get away from his hand, know. And then once we got in the strap, I was super confident and super comfortable. I'm not gonna lie, remember I had the foul, and then we went again, and I got the pin. When I was over the corner, I was like, breathing. I was like, damn. And then I just felt my gas tank dropping and your hand just feeling stronger and stronger. I was like, oh, dude. This might be a long night for me. I was talking all that shit, too.
Oh, yeah. It was fun, man. It was fun. No, I love it, brother. Well, thank you for taking the time, man.
Thank you so much for this, dude. I appreciate you.
Yeah, definitely. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Make sure to give Brandon some love. Where can they check you out?
Mainly Instagram, Brandon Allen Filthy Power. I have a YouTube as well. Same thing, Brandon Allen Filthy Power.
Beautiful.
If you're interested in online coaching, powerlifting, strength and conditioning, that's what I do. By all means, send me a message. I respond to everyone and see if I can help you out.
Love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. We're gonna cut it off there because I'm hungry.
I'm ready.
Go out and be great. We'll check you guys later. If you enjoyed this podcast episode and would like to listen to another, click right here. And to stay informed about new podcast episodes, click here to subscribe.